At the Okoli Law Group, we specialize in producing justice. If you or a loved one in the Atlanta metro area is facing serious criminal charges, then you need serious legal representation.
The Okoli Law Group is here for you. The Okoli Law Group is here for us.
The Okoli Law Group, serious legal representation.
Navigating through this spiritual journey is challenging. Healers need healers, trainers need trainers, and leaders need leaders too. If you're looking for a space that offers Reiki healing, emotional mastery, chakra healing, and even one-on-one spiritual consultation, visit us at todayswellness.com. Get all your spiritual needs met and just have someone you can actually talk to. Because whatever it is that you are seeking is also within you.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. It really means a lot. I appreciate everyone out there who rocks with Dynasty Mirror. You know, I appreciate everyone out there who rocks with Dynasty Mirror who might have a difference of opinion from Dynasty Mirror. So hit that like button, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. We have a couple of announcements. Announcement number one, we are rolling, guys. Listen, we're rolling to Nigeria on Sunday. We are rolling to Nigeria on Sunday. I cannot wait. I am so excited. We are going to have an excellent, awesome time in Nigeria, everyone. I am so excited. I am so pumped. I'm going to be 10 toes down, 2 feet down on the continent. On the continent. I need to be 2 feet. I'm reading these comments already. So let me get through the announcements. Then we'll get into the topic. And then people who disagree, you're more than welcome to call in. But Basie, man, I will challenge you on this. Give me Donald Trump's Libya. Again, give me Donald Trump's Libya. That's all. Okay, so anyways, guys, hit the like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get to these announcements. Again, we're rolling to Nigeria on Sunday. If you're a last-minute person, if you want to roll, I got a spot for you. But we are rolling to Benin Republic in January 3rd to the 12th for the Voodoo Festival. You are more than welcome to join us. Please visit donfo.africa to learn more. We are also going to Sierra Leone in April. That's April 20th through the 29th. Celebrate Independence Day. Then we are going to Senegal in June 1st to the 10th for the Jazz Festival. Then back to Nigeria August 3rd through the 12th for the Osun Festival. So once again, we're rolling to Nigeria on Sunday. On Sunday, we are rolling to Nigeria for the Osun Festival. Then we're going to Zanzibar in September. So if someone wants to go, I have a spot for you if you want to roll. Then we're also going to Senegal, the Voodoo Festival, Benin Republic. That's January 3rd to the 12th. Senegal for the Jazz Festival. That is June 1st to the 10th. Sierra Leone in April. That's April 20th through the 29th. And then we're rolling to Nigeria again. That is August 3rd through the 12th. Let's jump into today's topic. So yes, Africans were affected. Okay, but still, I need you to give me Trump's Libya. Again, I need you guys to give me Trump's Libya. That's all I'm saying. All right, the Muslim ban, which wasn't a ban, is not. You can't compare that to what Obama did in Libya. All right, as far as Rwanda and Angola, you cannot compare that to what Obama Again, when we speak on Trump and AGOA, which is the African Growth Opportunity Act, and I believe he removed Rwanda from it, you cannot compare that to Libya. Just you can't. That destabilized an entire region. Again, that destabilized an entire region. So you can't compare that to Libya. That's some. There we go. Okay, clean that up. I'm just saying. But anyway, so we often have this discussion, or this is brought up because I'm voting for Trump coming up this November. I also voted for Trump this past in 2020 in the past election. When he ran in 2020, I voted for him then as well. So the argument that always comes up is, Dinas, how can you vote for Trump when he made those statements about shithole countries? Guys, give me a second. And again, people continue to bring up, Dinas, how can you vote for Trump when he made the comments about shithole countries? And my response has always been, well, Obama actually turned an African country into a shithole. And people completely skip over that and make excuses for that. And just, I never understood, how can you completely ignore that or downplay what Obama did to Libya? Again, how can you completely ignore and downplay and minimize what Obama did to Libya? How it destabilized the entire Sahel, how it literally kickstarted slavery in Africa. Africans are being sold in downtown Tripoli in broad daylight. Again, Africans were being sold in Tripoli in broad daylight. But you guys want to ignore that. Here we go. Brother Dynasty, Flora Shaw, shape up your hairline. Come back home to FBA, brother. I got to get a haircut. I'm going to get a haircut on Friday. But thank you, Nakmizi. I appreciate your concern. Nakmizi, I appreciate your genuine concern. I really do. Thank you so much. And thank you for the €6 holla. Thank you, Nakmizi. But you guys like to downplay that and ignore that. And just focus on comments that were made by Donald Trump. Same thing goes with the Central Park Five, but that's another topic. But I just never, you see, this is what we call TDS, which is Trump derangement syndrome. This is a side effect where you hate the man so much because of comments, because of his rhetoric. But when it comes to someone who actually turned the country into a shithole, you have every excuse for that. When it comes to Africans, because of what Obama did to Libya and destabilizing the country, in which Africans were being sold in open air slave markets, they're not even hiding it. You guys want to completely ignore that. No, Mr. Urbero, what I'm saying is because of what Obama did to Libya, it destabilized the country when he armed the terrorists and the radicals of Libya, these terrorists and radicals not only started to destabilize the Sahel and sell the weapons that the US gave them to other insurgent groups throughout the Sahel, they also sold African slaves. That's just a fact. That's another one. Black folks also ignore the "you ain't black if you don't vote for me" comment from Biden, but that's another topic. This is just what they do. Guys, links in the chat room. If you want to call in, you disagree with me, you're more than welcome to call in after the conversation. But again, you tell me, which hurt Libya the most? Trump shithole country comments, or Obama actually bombing Libya? Or most? I'm just asking a question. 2 Real 4 TV, you're more than welcome to call in. No one pays me. I'm just asking a question. Links in the chat room, you're more than welcome to call in. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much, Dynast. I appreciate you. Remember, I was the one who actually started speaking about that in the last live, so I appreciate the fact that you decided to make it an entire topic. It's pissing, like it's just pissing, and the way so many other Negroes look up to Obama, like he's the shit, like it's cringe. It pisses me off, like. Trump actually, like Trump said something about Libya, not just Libya, but even Pakistan and a lot of these Muslim countries. Go look up, like I don't know the exact thing to type in the search engine, but look up something like Trump speaking on Libya or something like that on YouTube. Trump literally said, I watched the interview. It was like an interview with some journalist. Trump literally said Obama messed up Libya. Trump literally pointed out Obama's flaws. Though Obama, like one thing I like about Obama, he knows how to point out his mistakes. He came on live TV one day and said that was one of the biggest mistakes he ever made. Like arming the rebels in Libya to take out Gaddafi. I literally saw the video of how they chopped Gaddafi's body. He looked like he was like, bro, he didn't look like a human being when they were done with him. Like they chopped him off. Like Trump literally said Libya right now is completely destabilized. He said Obama, he literally was calling out Obama, saying Obama messed up the whole place. Like he shouldn't have given those armed rebels weapons, because it just, like he says, Libya now is more messed up than it was even under Gaddafi. This was Obama. This was
absolutely.
Yeah, this was Trump speaking. I'm saying it in Trump's words. Trump literally pointed this out, and then in a complete change of topic, he said something about Pakistan. Like they have a school of jihad in Pakistan, and he says it's literally Pakistan and Afghanistan are literally like the Harvard University of radical terrorism. He said during Gaddafi's time, it was just way better. It really was. I mean, when you think about it, like people think authoritarian leadership is all that bad, but I'll be honest with you, bro. If I'm under a dictator, my dictator is doing good for the economy, I don't mind. I'll be real with you, like, bro.
I wouldn't mind either. I wouldn't mind either.
I've seen democracies that are bullshit. I mean, I always use my country as an example. So yeah.
Go ahead, Dre.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. So according to Politico, it said that President Obama launched an air campaign against Libya on, I guess on March 19th, 2011. They said the decision to order the strikes came after the UN Security Council, I guess after they passed a resolution and spearheaded by his administration that authorized military intervention in Libya. And then they also said that Obama said the military action sought to save the lives of peaceful pro-democracy protesters who found themselves the target of a crackdown by Libyan dictator Gaddafi.
You believe that?
Yes, that was their excuse, their original excuse.
Dre, that was their excuse. Come on, Dre.
So you don't believe that he was trying to save the lives of the peaceful protesters?
Come on, we had a peaceful protest in Nigeria. Speaking as a Nigerian, why didn't they come save us like the way he did? because my mates, people my age, were getting shot dead. I saw like my own age mates, there was blood all over their legs. People got shot all over their body. Why didn't whoever was the president of the United States at the time, I think it was actually Trump, right?
It was Trump.
It's Trump. Why
Trump.
didn't they call them over to come save us in Nigeria and get rid of Buhari at the time? That's just a dumb excuse. And by the way, that thing you just spoke of was not really, to be honest, it wasn't really just Obama. It was like a NATO-backed decision. But Obama spearheaded it, like you said. So I just wanted to point that out because it's not like it was just Obama, but at the end of the day, he was world president at the time. If he wanted to, he had the authority to call off the whole thing.
Dre, you can't be this naive, Dre.
Yeah,
so
bro,
are you saying that Obama didn't do anything positive for Africa?
So now you're moving the goalposts. Dre, I just want you to show me all these examples of these peaceful protesters in Libya that Gaddafi.
So I could probably look up the article. Let me see. Right quick.
That Obama was concerned about the Libyans, man. Man, oh goodness. Obama was concerned about the Libyans. Oh man.
I think also it was Syria too and Iraq that he also.
Yeah. Obama's concerned about the Syrians. Okay.
Let me see.
So let's apply that same logic to Israel. If you see what Israel's doing to Palestine, why didn't Obama invade Israel?
Let me see.
Good question.
Well, Dre, did you hear my question?
I don't even know, honestly.
I know you don't know. Golly. Let me put the link in the chat. Guys, if you want to call in after the conversation, please click on the link. If you want to call in after the conversation, please click on the link. But I'll
go ahead and share the
using that same logic,
Obama
should have invaded Israel in the name of saving the Palestinians. So, guys, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. Yeah, link is in the chat room.
All right, I sent the link.
I'm very aware of the airstrikes, but again, that's the excuse they used.
So you don't believe it was based on peaceful protesters? You just believe that he was trying to destabilize Libya?
Trey, do you really think Obama gave a damn about those Libyans? Go ahead, T. Khalid. Unmute yourself, T. Khalid. Well, God, you gotta stop calling in on your Obama phone. But it's just, again, the way that a lot of black people, especially Democrats, are justifying the destabilization of an African country. It's crazy. It's nuts the way black people in America justify what Obama did to an African country. Is weird as hell. And the aftermath. It's sickening. But then they have the nerve to bring up Trump and his shithole country comment. Hey, T, you got to get off the Obama phone.
Yeah, my bad, man. I'm being cheap today, man. But no, just people got to stop buying this narrative that America just comes in and saves the poor protesters. I mean, America is allied with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has been ruled by a family dictatorship for years. Why hasn't the American government came and liberated the Saudis by bombing, killing, and stationing Saudi Arabia? They don't do this to dictators who play ball. We only dictators who are a threat to America are dictators who don't listen to us, who don't want to get under any IMF or anything that benefits America. They do things for the best for the people. And also, Libya seemed to be the only African country back in that time, to my knowledge, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but he was trying to unite Africa, trying to pull them away from Western influence and tell them to be more independent. They did need the West. Do y'all know how much of a threat that is to the Western countries, especially the United States? This is why they had to paint Gaddafi as this evil dictator who doesn't allow his people to protest. But also, look who America supported. We supported terrorists. We support people who chop the guy's head off. And look, it's slavery there. So what type of liberation did Libya get liberated from? And why isn't America now after we destroy Libya trying to change the situation in Libya, the slavery situation? We're not trying to do a darn thing. Once we destabilize it, mission complete. Gaddafi dead. Now we're not going to have no independent African country to look up to show the other African countries this is how it's done. Like, to buy all this BS about protesters and dictators, this is, like I said, this is all for the low IQ. And sat there and tricked black people, especially Africans, into supporting this. It's ridiculous. Like, it's like, just because there's a black face, like, dang, y'all don't ask any questions, you just go along with it, even when it goes against your own people and interests. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say in regards to that other person who was acting like he didn't know why Libya got destroyed.
I mean, what does Libya have to do with us Black Americans?
What do you mean, bruh? What do you mean? Anything by default, anything that has to do with Africa has to do with Black Americans.
So with that being said, why are you guys so up in arms about Trump's comment about Africa? I mean, I'm not. He really didn't say Africa specifically. By your logic, why are you guys so upset about Trump shithole country comments? If it has nothing to do with it,
but then he also added to that and said he didn't want Africans to come over here.
Well, they're Africans, they ain't Black Americans. So why do you care, Dre?
Well, I'm just saying in terms of Pan-Africanism, because I noticed that, you know, with some of these spaces, y'all tend to be in favor of him saying those things and not challenge Trump on.
Okay, so Dre. So 1 second, T. I'm gonna pass to you. So do you care? Okay, so you don't care about. So if America was to close its borders right now and say Africans, you are not allowed in this country, you wouldn't care?
Well, I mean, I would care to some degree because I wouldn't want to see anybody. I wouldn't want to see anybody, you know, just completely, be wrongfully deported or whatever it is. But I'm just saying that,
So why did you just ask, what does Libya have to do with Black Americans?
But that's North Africa. That's not Sub-Saharan Africa.
But you do know there are a lot of Africans that live in. You do know there are a lot of Sub-Saharan Africans that live in Libya.
And where are they coming from in Sub-Saharan Africa? Are they coming from the Congo, Ghana?
What does it matter?
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, man. Oh man.
Hey, bro, this is why, when it's very hypocritical, because liberals always talk about European colonialism, European intervention, how the white supremacists always like to intervene in quote unquote color people affairs. But then here you have a black man who just listened to Libya get destroyed and said, oh, who cares? Just destroyed. It has nothing to do with me. So it's like these people. So what this actually shows is it doesn't matter if you put a black face or a black face in a high place. They're going to still continue the destructive American foreign policy. And the danger part is because they're black, they're going to get black people to go along with it because black people are the only race that looks at someone's skin color and believe just because they share my skin color, all of their foreign policy dealings, all of their policies are good, or we're just going to shrug it or make an excuse. I guarantee you, if this was a white Republican who destroyed any part of Africa, these Negroes will be crying about colonialism, white supremacy, destroying the black country. But the danger, because it's a Democrat and they've been brainwashed by our media that all Republicans are racist, they give excuses for Democrat behavior. Just like they will always give excuses for Black Lives Matter, rioting, burning things up, excuses for everything. You're going to have like a Trump assassination, excuses, it's his stage, excuses for the lawfare to be used against Trump, all these excuses. And this is why you cannot give these people power, because the reason why we ask these people what ifs, or we bring up situations similar to what's going on the Republicans, that is a test to see if they truly stand on what they believe in or if they're biased, and they fail all the time. If a Democrat does it, who cares? Justify excuse. If a Republican does it, it's a problem. This is why we got to keep these people out the White House. We cannot have these people get power because they will sell out. Even black folks will sell out their own just to keep the white power structure. And I don't even talk like this, but I'm just using our own words. The white power structure, supremacy structure going.
Go ahead, Biko.
Yes, I'm a retired baby boomer. I've been around since the Kennedy administration, and nothing has changed very little. During the time that I can remember, what was it? The African leader of the Congo, Lumumba, was assassinated with the Eisenhower and Kennedy administration.
Well, Biko, if I can interject, per Dre's logic, the Lumumba's assassination was justified.
No, it wasn't justified as far as I can see.
Who said that? I never said that.
Well, the way you were justifying Gaddafi's assassination, you might as well justify Biko and Thomas Sankara. Go ahead, Biko. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You might as well justify Lumumba and Thomas Sankara. Go ahead, Biko. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you fast forward today. We just had a man. What is it? Obama, a black man, supposedly. He did the same thing that Eisenhower and Kennedy did. He had another African leader of Libya assassinated. And I can't see myself personally voting for anybody like Kamala or Obama. I voted for Obama the first time. I said, I'm going to give him a chance and look at his policies. But after that second term, and I saw that assassination, and I saw black people getting murdered on the street because they couldn't get to him, I was through with Obama. I don't have anything more to do with that man. He's a traitor to black people.
Thank you, sir. I agree. I
agree too. I really agree.
Go ahead, Ola. You got to mute yourself, Ola.
Thank you, Dennis. You know, the policy of United States is a different type of policy. You know, when Obama came to be the president of the United States, we thought we have emotional bond to Africa. You see, when you don't have emotional bond to a place, you don't really care what actually happened there. That's what Obama did. You understand me? So Obama and Africa was actually not really friends. Obama just used, I'm from Kenya, but actually not really have a love from his own people in Kenya, but he just be the United States. That's his interest. You understand me? So Obama used that side of his Africanness and sell it to African people and Kenya and sell it to United States and Black American. That what we'll see. But did he have any good thing to do to us? No, he didn't really show no really love to us. Rather, he was bringing us to accept something that we actually don't want to accept. You know, we're promoting this LGBT to us. You know, we should accept it. It's part of life. We should take it and kiss it. And everything that he knows, if he actually is a son of the soil in Africa, he would have not have come to that root at all. I said we should kiss this LGBT thing of a thing. You understand? Because if he did promote, George Bush did promote it. You know, but he came as the son of the soil. You know, Africa going to from one leader to another. People said, no, this is not our problem. You know, and they did it against Nigeria President Jonathan. Obama played a role, and David Cameron while Jonathan was being thrown out of office because Jonathan signed that law. You see, especially if you in United States, you know, the truth of the matter is most blacks in the United States have no emotional attachment to Africa. They can say anything they want to say. They can say, oh, motherland. If you like what this guy said, who cares? That's good. That what actually going on. That what happened to that NBA player. That NBA player, I forget Gabator's name. That's what most Black Americans think. By sorting and if I call it the who kind of something, they don't have no shoes.
Bros, because they think what the Ahi tribe apparently.
Yes, but that is the mind,
such
majority
nonsense.
mind. That is the majority mind of most Black Americans. Just like this guy who said, "Who cares?" You understand me? Because you don't care because you have no emotional attachment to that place. That's why we don't Africa. That's what we Africa to be. You see, with Russia, United States now, and Ukraine.
Ola. It's only an emotional attachment if it's a Republican that's pulling the trigger. Now, this was Donald Trump bombing that country. Black America would be outraged. But this is Obama. It's nothing really.
No, we didn't. I'm not saying that Obama didn't do anything horrible to Africa. I'm just saying that we can weigh out the pros and cons and see exactly what he did that was more beneficial or what was detrimental. I think a lot of times we focus just on the negative and we're trying to demonize one party and then trying to deify the other party. And I don't think that is fair across the board. I think we should look at both sides as, you know.
Nobody agreed with Bush invading Iraq, and nobody agreed with Obama bombing Libya, bro.
Africans.
What are you talking about?
I mean, y'all say it all the time. Y'all demonize Democrats all the time and then pedestalize Republicans. And y'all don't hold
the MAGA movement is different from the Republican movement, bro. That's why rhinos are attacking them. All the war hawks, like Bill Kristol and many, are switching to voting Democrat. Most of the neocons who led us into these foreign wars, that is not beneficial to America. That wastes millions, no, trillions of taxpayer dollars. That actually brings more hatred to us, hatred to our country. They left the Republicans due to Trump, and they're now siding with the Democrats because the Democrats are the ones who's still trying to invade other countries, who's still trying to send all these foreign aid to other countries, things like that. See, are you not paying attention to that? Do you understand that there's a civil war going on within the Republican Party?
A civil war going on in the Republican Party. Are you saying it's because of the Democrats? Because I know that's what's coming next, you know?
No. Between the Trump MAGA movement and the neocons. They don't like Trump. This is why the Lincoln Project exists. Do you know what the Lincoln Project is? It's a bunch of neocons who don't like Trump, who is actively campaigning against him. This is why the coined term "Never Trump" exists. A never Trumper is not a Democrat. That is a Republican who will never vote for Trump regardless. There's nothing like this going in the Democrat Party. There's no former Democrat institution or Congress, whoever, saying, you know what, we're going to now vote for the Republicans. None of that exists. It's only against the Trump movement. This is why we are bigging up the MAGA movement. We're not bigging up these neocon Republicans.
So you don't believe that Trump is trying to promote hate and chaos in the country?
What hate and chaos did Trump promote?
I mean, like I said, his racist comments and all these other things that he's
what racist comment did Trump make?
I mean, the fact that he was like, "Look at my African American," or just all these many tropes, so many racist tropes that you can look all these things up.
Hey, so that is worse than if you ain't black. No, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
I hold Biden accountable for that too. I don't. I'm not going to sit there and say that Biden.
Look at my African American friend racist.
He said, "Look at my African American," as if like he was a pet or he was not human.
No.
I mean, that's
because there's a stigma.
My brother, you're talking about that. They just give you an Indian woman. They give you an Indian woman as your next, the new black. You're talking about nonsense. You sit it out there. You put after the white, you put the second one. You perform that country with the white people. Now they're not telling you your blackness is no longer blackness. The Indian woman is the new black now. You did get it? You talk about, oh, look, I'm a black American. They give you the new black. Is that what you have to accept or not?
I mean, that's the same thing that happened with Obama.
They give you the Obama at least African father. Just like you.
Can I come in, Dennis?
Come out of these African people that came there. Forget this, just like Obama. They give you the new black. The father is an Indian mix with Taino. He's never a black person in Jamaica. You person black, they give you that. This is the new black Indian woman now. From from whatever Asia in India. She said herself, I'm the first vice president from Southeast Asia. I'm an Indian woman. You know?
Yeah, that's part of her identity. Yeah.
Your new race is not existing in America. It's no longer you anymore. The Indians are not the new black. You talk about Trump saying, look at my black America. Fight for power.
You guys, someone in the comment section says,
hey, Dennis, can I come in?
Hold on, Elvis. Can I just say something? Someone in the comment section says, Obama literally extended the sanctions on Zimbabwe. Is that true?
Yep, that's very true. He did it in 2009. He did it in 2009, and trust me, they're not going to say nothing about it. Oh, well, you know, it's just whatever. All right, go ahead, Elvis.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Look, Libya, when it comes to Libya, I keep saying a lot of people are ill-informed when it comes to Gaddafi. Gaddafi killed U.S. Servicemen in Germany. He had a woman take a bomb to a club where U.S. servicemen, frequented, and she killed. I think the bomb exploded. She killed like 3 people, and I think like 100 or so was injured. That Lockerbie bomb, that plane that crashed over Lockerbie, Scotland. A lot of Americans was on board. Gaddafi was responsible for that. So Gaddafi did a lot of things against the West. The terrorist attack that happened at the Munich Olympic that killed a lot of people, especially Israelis athletes. Gaddafi was responsible for that. When they killed those terrorists, about I think 3 of them, Gaddafi, they were Palestinians, but Gaddafi received their bodies in Libya, and it was celebrating them as martyrs. So Gaddafi did a lot of things against the West, and we had that grudge against them. What he tried to do
So you're
was to
saying
try to
Gaddafi?
I don't believe none of that.
hold on. What he tried to
No,
do,
he's right. He's right. But
what he tried to do later on was to try to collaborate with the United States in sharing intelligence on Al Qaeda, and that's how he became helpful. But once he became, once Al Qaeda was put under control, and he lost his usefulness, and the Arab Spring happened, where you had I think 4 or 5, Arab nations that changed their president. You had Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia. I think Syria almost happened, but that guy, with the helping of Russia, was able to keep him in power. So Gaddafi was fighting against his own people, and definitely he knew the U.S. and the West, especially France, Germany, and the U.S. had problems with him because he killed their citizens in terrorist, attacks. So when we talk about Gaddafi, let's not make it seem as if Obama is going to side with him because he's an Arab. And again, U.S.
yeah,
foreign policy is not about race. No matter who's in the office, you can be Indian, Asian, Black, or African. The foreign policy is what you're going to go by, not because they're from Africa or India. You go by the U.S. foreign policy. The State Department has certain policies that the U.S. government, has formulated over the years, and that's what the president is going to go by. He can make his own foreign
That's not true.
policies, but if he doesn't make that foreign policy, he's going to go on the pre-existing foreign policy that's on the book. So
That's not true.
whatever you say, my
I mean,
friend.
they said he was condemned
because
as a
Trump was
dictator who's
hated for being a
authoritarian.
quote unquote isolationist. So what are you talking about?
You
This
said
is
what?
why the neocon Republicans then sided with Trump and they call him an isolationist. When you're called an isolationist in America, that means you're not someone who wants to intervene in everyone's country affairs.
No, that's not what it
This
means.
is why.
That's
No,
not what it
that's
means,
why
you
they.
idiot.
That's what they.
How do you
No,
think
that
U.S.
is
get
what an
intelligence when it
isolation
comes to
is.
terrorists?
Go to any
You work with
anti-war
other
person in America,
agencies.
and they
You
will
work with the
call them an
Mossad. You work with
isolationist.
you work with other intelligence agencies across the world to get intelligence on terrorism. So if you just want to keep yourself in a bubble, if something is bubbling up in Africa or in Asia that's going
Exactly.
to harm the
This
United
is what I'm
States,
talking about.
you need to share intelligence.
first of all, Elvis,
That's why it's
No,
important to have
hold on, chill.
allies.
that's
What are you
not even
talking
the
about?
conversation of
We
sharing
all know that
intelligence.
No, when you
Gaddafi,
say
like,
somebody is an
that Gaddafi was
isolationist,
not a clean man
that's
at all.
detrimental to American security.
Elvis,
No, it's not detrimental to
It
American
is.
security.
One mic. Elvis, what does getting intel from foreign countries have anything to do with playing a role in the assassination of leaders of foreign countries?
I don't know what you mean playing a role.
No, but again, you're equating. So when T brought
No, for
up
real, Dynasty actually does, because remember Thomas Sankara, he had literally his own friends literally giving intelligence to these guys who ended up taking him out. I get where Elvis is coming from, but Elvis, you need to understand.
No, Justin. What I'm asking, you can get intelligence, but you don't have to assassinate foreign leaders and destabilize countries in order to get intelligence.
Look, Dynasty, America is not an altruistic nation. If you go against their security interests, they're going to take you out. If any African nation had the power, hold on. If any African nation had the power that the United States has,
neocons, I'm trying to
and
tell y'all.
anybody is going against their security interests, they're going to neutralize that person. It's about self-perseverance. They're not. They don't love you because you're African. They don't love you because you're African. If you're going to spew rhetoric against them, and if you threaten by you, they're going to take you out. It's like a guy who's bigger than somebody else in a bar, and this guy tells you, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to beat you up." You're going to punch that person out right there and then. You're not going to not take them seriously. You're not going to say, "Oh, this guy is not serious. I'm going to walk away."
So then, is Russia justified? Just in your opinion, just based on what you're saying, is Russia justified in invading the smaller country Ukraine because Ukraine was talking a bunch of shit?
Invasion is different.
Yes.
It's different. If you invade another country,
No, bro. Go by what your logic. You just
no,
said
don't tell me what to go by my
against
logic.
a country's
You
interest,
invade
and it's
another
a bigger
sovereign
country
nation.
against
If you
a smaller
invade a
country,
sovereign nation, it's
the
war.
American would take them out, just like America took out Libya, who is a much smaller and weaker country who posed us no
What
national
you
threat
idiot? I
whatsoever, had no
just gave
nuclear
you
weapons.
examples of Americans being
do the
killed by the
same with
Libyans. I
Russia
just
and
give you
Ukraine.
examples of that.
You see that,
You don't
Dynasty?
understand history, you
Because the
fool.
Democrats support the
Libyans
war
kill
against
Americans.
Russia.
Libyans kill Americans and kill Israelis. So what are you talking about?
There's no proof of that, man.
What do you mean there's no proof of that? It's been well documented. People on this panel know about it.
Elvis.
No,
So do you
there
believe
is
he
proof of that.
supported
He's right. It's
international
well documented.
terrorism?
We all know that Gaddafi was not a clean man.
What, Mike? So Elvis, Russia hasn't killed Americans.
You said Russia hasn't killed Americans?
I'm asking a question. Has Russia hasn't killed Americans?
I'm sure they probably have.
Okay,
You know, but most of the people that Russian kill are Russian dissidents. People who speak against the Russian government, they poison them when they go to different countries. I'm not sure about a lot of Americans being killed by Russians, but if you have the proof, I'd like to see it.
Elvis, you're all over the place. Has Russians killed Americans?
I don't know. I'm sure that they probably have, but I don't know. I don't have the proof. If you have it, share it.
None of what Elvis is saying is true.
Is there a big case of a Russian killing an American dynasty that you can point to? Is there a big case?
None of the reasons we invaded Libya
Russian
had
has killed
anything to do with Americans dying. It was all
they killed
about
journalists
Gaddafi being a dictator.
that were Russians. I'm not sure they've killed people from America or assassinated them in the United States. I'm not sure. If you have
none of what you're saying was the pretense to invade Libya. None of it. None of what you're saying was a pretense to invade Libya. They thought Gaddafi was a dictator.
America did not invade Libya, you
we
idiot.
came to save the people.
It was rebels on the ground.
Well, Mike, Elvis, we gotta watch the tone, bro. We ain't gonna call people idiots.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. But this guy is just talking and he's not even understanding anything.
I don't care if
there was no American troops on the ground. America gave them air support. And France gave not even America mostly, but France was the one that was doing the airstrike.
That's still an invasion in another country's foreign affairs who stays 300,000 miles from us.
Gaddafi was responsible for killing Americans, killing British, killing French and Germans. He was responsible for killing them, and he got what he got his comeuppance. He got his comeuppance.
But do you see how Elvis not saying that was not their reasoning? They were not saying this is the reason why we got to take out Gaddafi.
They didn't forget it
because he was killing Americans. No, they thought he was a dictator. No, they was trying to liberate that country. They didn't say anything what you're saying, because if that were true, what you just said, all of those were acts of war that America wouldn't tolerate. If a state and they came out and admitted, yes, we killed your servicemen and in a foreign country, that is an act of war. We would have, and then yes, during that point, yes, we would have been justified.
Bro, you don't understand history. There were sanctions. There were sanctions put on Libya. There were sanctions put on Libya. There were embargoes put on Libya because of the acts that they committed. You don't understand history. You don't even read history.
No.
You don't understand the history of Libya. Go read about it. There was embargo put on Libya.
That's not true.
His Gaddafi money was seized.
Look that up, because I'm telling you, if any foreign country would have killed an American soldier, and like any American serviceman,
go research the nightclub bombing.
That is an act
Munich,
of war
in
with
Germany.
any country. That is an act of war.
Go research it right now, Donis. You can research it. You got your computer in front of you.
Right. But again, my question, because I mean, I'm reading right now where Russians killed American soldiers who were fighting in the Ukraine. So I'm trying to figure out that.
I mean, that's war. I mean, you talking about when I'm talking about Russians killing people. When I'm talking about Libya killing people, it was through terroristic acts where somebody go and bomb somebody, whether it's a civilian or a serviceman who's in a nightclub. It's different. On a battlefield.
How did they kill American soldiers fighting in the Ukraine when they didn't send soldiers to the Ukraine?
You had
Americans volunteered to fight.
Mercenaries.
Americans who volunteered. That's fair game, Donis. Come on, they went to fight Russians and they got killed. I'm sure they probably killed a couple Russians.
I thought the original policy that was that no one was going to help Ukraine literally with like actual troops because Ukraine wasn't part of NATO at the time.
It's still not a part of NATO. But the reason why I brought up the Russian and Ukraine thing, because Elvis made a might makes right argument. If a smaller country picks on a bigger country, then that bigger country has a right to take them out. So I did the same because I knew it. Elvis wouldn't be consistent. I knew it. So
What
I
are you
looked at the
talking about?
Russian
It wasn't
Ukraine
just
situation
rhetoric.
because I know
Gaddafi
the
committed
Democrats
acts of
hate
terrorism
Russia.
and
The
killed U.S.
Democrats hate
citizens.
Russia, and I knew it.
He
Elvis now
supported
is
acts of
against Russia
terrorism and killed
invading
U.S. citizens.
Ukraine. It's crazy. So Elvis is not
What are you
consistent.
talking about, my friend?
You just said might versus right. Listen what I'm saying. You just said a might versus right comment
He
with the
threatened
United
the
States.
United States and he carried out the threat.
So Ukraine threatened Russia. They were killing
What?
Russian civilians
What are you
in the
talking about?
Donbass. They were
Ukraine
trying
never
to join
threatened Russia.
NATO.
Russia
And
invaded
Russia,
Ukraine
yes,
and was
Russia
forced to defend themselves.
So Elvis, let's use that same logic to North Korea. Why hasn't the U.S. invaded North Korea?
Because of South Korea.
What do you mean because of South Korea?
What are you talking about? We got troops.
Hold on. The U.S. has a strategic security interest in South Korea. They have a military base there. They have investments in South Korea. If they bomb North Korea, it's going to be retaliated against South Korea. That's been this whole thing. If anybody understands foreign policy, you know what that is. So the U.S. don't want to
Fair
escalate
point,
things
but
with North
US
Korea
don't
I
because
wipe
the
hope
out
that
South
was the
Koreans are
reason
going to
why.
suffer
You you're right
immediately.
about that. But before
Right.
the nukes that were abused by North Korea, before North Korea had nukes, North Korea having nukes is actually fairly recent. Before then, they had the chance to do so. Why didn't they invade North Korea? That guy has been in charge for a relatively long time. If that's your point, I'm just asking.
The whole family. Elvis, for your logic, they should have invaded North Korea.
No, because a lot of innocent South Koreans are going to be killed. North Korea has a pretty powerful military. Even if the U.S. can back up South Korea, it's going to be a lot of people being killed. It's not just about if you can win a war, you go in there and take them out. There's going to be a lot of casualties, a lot of collateral damage that's going to happen. If you can maintain peace, maintain it. I mean, it's not an all-out
Was the
thing where you
Iraq
got to
war
go in there and kill
justified?
people and
Was
have
the
a lot of
Iraq
people
war
dying in the
justified?
process of it.
Was
Say
the
that
Iraq
again?
war
Elvis.
was the Iraq war justified?
Yeah, it was.
That's why I said the Democrats are the new
It
neocons,
was.
y'all.
It was. You don't understand history. Like I said,
Trying to
Saddam
tell y'all,
Hussein
boy, it's
Hussein
sad that an
invaded two
African is
of his
talking like
neighbors.
this too.
He
It's
invaded
sad
two
that
of
an
his
African
neighbors
is being such an
unprovoked.
imperialist,
He
man.
invaded Kuwait. He invaded Iran in 1992 and I think 1990. So you have to understand geopolitics before you talk. Yeah, go ahead.
No, let me 1 second. Let me pass it to G. Lacone and I'll pass it to Casanova. Go ahead, G.
Hey, my fellow Liberian Elvis, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, bro. Go ahead.
G,
I'm good.
Are you from the G? Question: are you from the same tribe as? Are you from the same tribe as Elvis?
What tribe is that?
What are you, crew, Elvis?
What tribe?
I'm Kron.
I'm crew. Yeah, I'm crew.
Yeah,
no,
so we're from the same people.
All right, go ahead, G.
Now, Crown and crew. What you mean?
Yeah, we're from the crew speaking language. We're related culturally and linguistically.
All right, so my question to
you from
you
Sino, Grand Crew, Maryland? Where you from?
Dude, I've been out of the country for a long time. I don't know, but my
all right, you probably know history then.
But Sassoon. Now, my grandfather was from Sassoon Town. He was Nimley, the great Nimley.
Yeah,
who fought against
Sasstown. George Nimley is a great warrior. Yeah, he's from Grand Crew.
Yeah. That's my grandfather. Great grandfather. So what was the reason behind John McCain and Lindsey Graham going to Libya? Since you do history, and can you explain that?
You're asking me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, you're asking Chief Khalid, because those are Republicans. He said that Democrats are the ones who won war. When you have war hawks like John McCain,
you don't listen, bro.
and
I
Lindsey
said there's
Graham.
a civil war with the Republican Party.
One mic. Let Elvis answer. Go ahead, Elvis, answer G's question.
I don't know the reason. I'm guessing they went to try to foster peace. I don't understand when you say they went to Libya. I'm not sure. I don't know.
No. Before John McCain ran, I think it was like 6-7 years before he ran, him and Lindsey Graham went to negotiate a deal with Omar Gaddafi, and Omar Gaddafi freed those so-called rebels that went against Libya. He did a lot to the agreement with American politics and Libya politics. They were considered coup during that period of time. So my question is, they didn't really have issue with Libya at that time. So by you bringing it up that Libya was killing soldiers and blowing up, doing all kinds of shit to the American government, they squashed that beef. You don't remember? That beef was already squashed.
That's what Gaddafi taught, because he started giving intelligence on Al Qaeda in the region, and he was useful to the United States. And once his people started to rise up against him, like we saw in Egypt with Mubarak, when he got put out of power, and the people started to rise up because they wanted a new government in Libya, and Gaddafi tried to squash it, the U.S., France, Germany, they took the opportunity to get him out because they still had that grudge that he killed citizens from those nations.
That's not the only reason, bro. There's an agenda. Gaddafi did some revolutionary things in Africa. He wanted to put a currency.
Justin, let G finish. Let G finish. Go ahead, G.
No. What I'm saying is, can you hear me? So no, what I'm saying is, so you saying that the American government didn't have a ceasefire or whatchamacallit with Libya after he agreed to let those soldiers go, those rebels go in his country. Remember, he freed those rebels.
I don't know when you say rebels. I don't understand what you mean. Look,
I'm talking about
Gaddafi has sanctions. Gaddafi has sanctions and embargoes on him from the West. You know, we saw similar things in Africa where you have these leaders, when they have sanctions, they try to get in the good graces of these nations to try to get from underneath those sanctions. So maybe it was a ploy to give up, you know, some hostages.
No, what I'm asking was these embargo taken off, or are you saying that it was never taken off? That's what you.
I don't know.
That's what you're saying.
I'm not 100% sure. But when you try to ask the rationale behind some of these actions, I'm just giving you a plausible reason why they could, you know, somebody could take actions in regards to those things. Because if I'm going to give you prisoners or hostages, I want something back in return. Maybe lift the sanctions. Maybe, you know, relax these embargoes.
The only reason
it could be something like that.
No, I thought the embargo was taken out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Go ahead.
Let me read this article real quick. McCain pushed to arm Gaddafi. A leaked U.S. diplomatic cable shows that Arizona Republican Senator John McCain promised to help Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi obtain U.S. military hardware in 2009. So this is a year after Obama. The cable released by the open information group WikiLeaks reveals the pledge came at meeting that was attended by other prominent members of Congress, including Senators Lindsey Graham, Susan Collins, and Joe Lieberman. In the meeting, Muqtassim Gaddafi, the Libyan's fifth son and national security advisor, requested U.S. assistance obtaining military supplies, both lethal and non-lethal. The cable indicates that McCain was the dominant voice among the congressional delegation and they pushed for military hardware for Gaddafi. Senator McCain assured Muqtassim that the United States... Hold on, let me stop right there, though. T, are you trying to tell me that the Republicans were actually trying to help an African leader and these Democrats came in and bombed them?
Yeah, man.
Again, it proves my point. It proves my point. It proves my point. The evil, white supremacist, racist Republicans were attempting to arm and help Gaddafi, but the Democrats came in and bombed the guy. You can't make this up.
Dennis, you got to read between the lines. You know, McCain and Lindsey Graham, they're all consultants for arm manufacturers like Raytheon and you know, and Lockheed Martin. They're all manufacturers. That's why people call them war hogs, because they want to sell U.S. weaponry to these countries that have a lot of oil money. That's going to be profit for them.
Elvis,
they're going to get some.
You talk about white supremacy, Elvis. Are you one of the guys who think white supremacy is very bad in America? Just out of curiosity, because I'm trying to see how you can talk about white supremacy and
I didn't
then
say
be a
anything about white.
neocon
I
at
didn't
the
say anything
same
about
time.
white
No,
supremacy.
I just want to make sure. So I just want to make sure you're not one of those white supremacy talking black folks, because I don't see how you could be a neocon interventionist and then talk about white supremacy at the
I
same time,
never
because that
on
makes
this platform.
zero
I've
sense.
never said anything about white supremacy. Trust me, I've
Okay,
never
okay,
said that.
But bro,
okay,
you
cool.
sounding like it.
Sounding like what?
Well, but guys, let me. Okay, so what you're saying is, what you're saying, Elvis, is that McCain. We had three or four U.S. senators who are Republican went to Libya, and it was like this shady under table arm. They're gonna in a shady way arm Gaddafi without the U.S. without the United States government knowing. And they were
No, that's not what I'm saying, Don. Is you saw Trump. Trump had a expose in Saudi Arabia, right, where he was showing some of these fighter jets and a bunch of missiles that he was selling to Saudi Arabia. That's
okay.
how the U.S. military-industrial complex survived. They sell a lot of these weapons to these, these Gulf states for their quote-unquote protection. So Libya is part of that. They have a lot of oil money. They want some protection from the U.S. And that's why, not protection from the U.S., but some of these weapons from the U.S. So places like Halliburton, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, some of these arm manufacturers, that's how they put these, ex-senators and current senators on their payroll so that they can lobby for them and have, immediate deals between some of these big, powerful countries, not powerful countries, but wealthy countries, so they can sell weaponaries to them. That's how it works.
Okay, Elvis. Okay, Elvis. All right. Let me pass to Castronova. Go ahead, Castronova.
So the topic of the show is was Gaddafi. Well, you know, was Donald Trump saying African countries are a shithole country worse than Democrats taking out Gaddafi? I'd say definitely no. But everybody done went down a little tangent on what Gaddafi was and what he represented. I don't think Gaddafi was good for Africa. He oppressed indigenous Africans right in his home country. So he just used Libya as leverage against the West. Simple as that. He was a pan-Arab, a self-proclaimed pan-Arab. So, it really blows me when continental Africans big up Gaddafi like he's the next Jesus Christ or something.
No, bro, that's not the whole story. Like that's part of the story. What you said is not wrong. That's part of the story. Basically, what happened was Gaddafi was a pan-Arab, just like you said, for a while. In his entire political career, for a while, he was a pan-Arab. He later realized that pan-Arabism was not going to work out. He literally visioned that this shit is not going to work out. He switched his
No,
agenda to
no, no, he
pan-Africanism.
didn't. No. They rejected him. He didn't realize that it wasn't going to work. He still wanted to be pan-Arab. However, they
You're both
rejected him.
right. You're both right. The Arabs, they reject him, and then he switched to Pan-Africanism.
Yeah, but
Yes,
Gaddafi
and that
did
was
put a
all
lot of money. He
strategy.
did
Hold
put a
He
lot of
didn't.
money into Black Africa.
I can't have you guys all talking at the same time. Go ahead, Kasha.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He didn't. He wasn't Pan-African because he loved Africans. He was Pan-African only because he couldn't be Pan-Arab. And as soon as they said he could be Pan-Arab, he was dropping that Pan-African moniker.
All right, let me pass it to Omkar. Go ahead, Omkar.
Yeah, peace to all of you. Hello, Dynast. Yeah, I wanted to add this. As I said before, the U.S. foreign policy on Africa, be it, and probably it might be in the whole world, but with some differences, be it Republican or Democrat, be it Trump or Obama, it's nearly the same. There will be only probably 1% of change, like in the manners, stuff, but it's nearly the same. I will advise people, and especially we in the African American community, that we have a lot of people who are misinformed, especially in the US, because remember this, all these big medias, they go with the government narratives or the party which they are aligned with. So a lot of people here don't know the truth. That's why I'm recommending, if you want to know more about African situation, sorry, Dynast, I'll say, watch African Stream. And I found that on Geopolitics about US, there is another channel which is called Geopolitical Economic Report. It's a very good, because this guy, I found that he's independent. He's not pro-Democrat or pro-Republican. And he has been exposing a lot of stuff. On Libya, with Obama versus Trump, let me say this. There is a Congolese guy who wrote one of the best books on Libya. It's called, unfortunately it's in French, but it's you can find some bits and pieces in English as well here and there. 4 years of US and Western war on the leader of Jamahiriya, Gaddafi. It's 40. So you understand that Libya was fought for 4 years. It's not only during Obama time, although, yes, Obama, at the time, that's when the leader Gaddafi was assassinated. But if that opportunity could have been under Trump, I bet even Trump could have done the same. Because the West was against Gaddafi, and the West and the US was against what Gaddafi was trying to do.
I disagree with you, bro.
It's not
saying Trump would have done the same. I disagree with you. Trump doesn't give a fuck about the outside.
Do you know that? Do you realize that actually Trump is the one who set the stage of, for example, let's go to Russia. A lot of people don't understand or don't know that Trump actually he set stage for the invasion. I mean, for the war between Russia and Ukraine, because Trump is the one who started arming Ukraine. A lot of people, because of the media.
No. Obama was the one that supported the coup that brought in Zelensky.
Yes, Obama supported the coup. Yes, that's true. But later on,
so when you talk about Trump, go ahead.
Yeah, remember that the Republican, the Democrat was trying to portray Trump as the a stooge or Russia has dirty on Trump, so Trump is pro-Russia, and Trump. That was actually not the truth, because actually Trump is also is trying to to fool people that he's against the deep state, but he's among those who are because remember he's a billionaire. Trump is the one who gave a lot of weaponry to Ukraine, actually, and this you can find it. There is documents. I'll try to go to my computer and send you some of the documents and even some video where he's bragging. Remember, even in in Syria, he bragged that when they asked him, "Why are you leaving our soldiers, U.S. soldiers in Syria?" He bragged. He said, "I left the soldiers there because we got oil."
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. sells weapons to everybody, just about.
Yeah, so that's why you can't say that Trump.
But at the same time, but Trump's the U.S. selling weapons to a country does not mean that does not constitute invading a country.
That's a preparation. That's a preparation of because
what is preparation. You got the money. The U.S. military will sell you weapons if you got the money.
Yeah, but do you think Ukraine had money to buy those weaponry?
Well, they bought them.
No, it's on loan. They do loan. All these weapons that they are shipping to them. Do you think they have money right now?
Well, because right now is different. Right now is different. I'm talking about under the Trump administration.
It's the same because remember, Ukraine has some wealth, has some mineral, a lot of mineral, and also there is a geopolitical, agenda there.
Yeah. So the weapons weren't free.
No, they're not for free.
Okay. Well, they paid for them. So
they will pay. They will pay for it.
Yeah, give us resources. We'll give you weapons. Okay, that's normal.
Yes. That's why I'm saying it's not Trump that is gonna be against that. I've realized that even Trump is not gonna stop that war probably. That's why even on Libya, even if it could have been a Republican president, it's only on Libya that when now the plan, all the strategy which they've been putting on for 40 years. There was now an opportunity because of that so-called Arab Spring, which was actually a CIA planned and directed, protests or revolt. Now, a lot of Libyans are, they are regretting Gaddafi. So that's what we need to keep in mind. So I'll probably stop here while I'm.
Well, real quick, I just found this. Trump holds Ukraine military aid meant to confront Russia. The Trump administration is slow walking $250 million in military assistance to Ukraine, annoying lawmakers and advocates who argue the funding is critical to keeping Russia at bay. President Donald Trump asked his national security team to review the funding program known as the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative in order to ensure the money is being used in the best interest of the United States. So, I mean, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I'll send you another article which shows the weapon. Even the then president of Ukraine, you remember, there was a time when the president, before Zelensky, he came to US during Trump administration, and he said that Obama sent us. I know that he was kind of, you know, marking Obama. He said that Obama sent us pillows and blankets, but Trump sent us, you know, weaponry. Don't you remember?
Right, but well, I don't remember that, but I do know Trump slowed down the approving weapons for the Ukraine in the best interest of America. So that's why when T. Khalid speak, is T here? No, T left. Okay, T left. So we'll talk about that later. Go ahead, Kala. Kala's gone too. Okay, Kala left. All right. Koja, go ahead, Koja.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hope everyone's feeling blessed. Just a quick background. I'm born and raised in Buganda, but from my perspective, I see this whole any time I hear president, the term president, that automatically translates to neo-colonial governor. Someone like President Museveni, he's a best example. Someone like Paul Kagame, best example. Their job is there to give access to any type of invader, investor, you name it, because that's their job. It's not for the best interest of the people. And from my personal experience, Museveni actually came in power by attacking a region called Ruero Triangle. That's where my grandfather is from. And because of that, he took power and he's been in power ever since. So when I hear people talking about how Gaddafi did good and all of this stuff, when I look at his friend Museveni, I cannot agree with him. I cannot side with him because this is someone that literally attacked my family members, and we've still got 2 family members missing till this day. So it's actually the reason why I'm in the UK right now. So when I hear people promoting,
let me ask you a question. Why did Museveni attack your family members?
Well, he was supported and backed by Britain, America, and Israel to do
your family members.
Gaddafi supported Museveni.
Not just my family member, but Buganda Kingdom in general, because
I'm asking, why did Museveni attack your family members?
Well, to take land. We had a lot of land in that region, so they attacked that region. Most of us fled, and now if you go there today, it's filled with Ethiopians, Eritreans, Indians. You can't even recognize it. But my point is, at the beginning, is that all of these so-called presidents that you hear about, they're more or less neo-colonial governors. That is their job, to give access to any foreigner that is not indigenous or refugee, investor, you name it. That is their job. That's why Museveni, I don't know if you heard when Idi Amin kicked out the Indians in the 70s, right? Museveni literally gave them full privileges to come back, even after they gave them compensation.
Why?
So
Why?
So this is someone that
but I'm asking why did he ask them to come back?
To give them access to the land, so they can gain advantage over the natives.
Koja, what's his name? Like the last king of Scotland. What's his name? Idi Amin. Idi Amin. When Idi Amin kicked out the Indians, what happened?
Well, it was more or less the economy was given back to the indigenous people. But we're running. Think about it.
And what happened? Like what happened?
The system that they gave us to run was a unitary system of governance, which is not our own. This is why it failed. Instead of us, because we were saying even before independence that look, the best system for us to work will be a federal system of governance, because in that way we get to govern ourselves. We had our territory.
Okay,
We don't
but
need anyone else to come in.
Coach, you're getting in the weeds. What happened when Idi Amin kicked out the Indians?
He more or less gave the economy back to the people.
No.
For
Who
us
did he
to
give
run.
it to? Who did he give it to specifically?
Obviously, some of the like industries were controlled by his own people. That's
And
what we.
what happened when he gave it to his cronies? What happened?
Well, they took advantage. I mean, you're not saying anything new
Yeah, the economy collapsed.
It went to shit. So I
because
mean,
we're running a system that's not ours. Of course, it's gonna fail, man.
no, it
What
went
did
to
you
shit.
expect?
Yeah, in other words, what you guys
It went
understand,
to
brother,
shit because Idi Amin's people were corrupt as fuck. Excuse my
and
language.
incompetent.
I think you're missing the point. You're missing the point. I said at the beginning, yeah, the system of governance that we're running from independence is a unitary system, which means politics and rigged elections. That's what we've been doing since independence. So when you talk about switching transfer of power, like, oh, this guy's gonna become president, Idi Amin became president and all this stuff, there's no progress in that because they're still running a neo-colonialist system.
I think you guys blame too much on the neoclassicism and the
Oh,
fact that a
can
lot
I
of
get in?
African countries. Hold up,
Can I
bro.
get in, please?
A
I've
lot.
been
Hold on. Let
waiting
me
on
say this.
stage for that.
Let me say. I've been waiting a long time to talk.
I've
A
been
lot
waiting.
of Africans simply cannot adapt to a modern system of government, rule of law,
It's not.
and stuff like this. And the bottom. That's the
These are
problem.
colonial systems. Those are
Hey, hold
colonial
on. How do you know
systems,
a
man.
colonial system? If you're
This is
in
my
your
first
own
time
country and
speaking,
you write the
Brandon.
Constitution,
I
how is
mean,
that a colonial system?
oh
First of
How
all,
is it that all these Asian countries,
before Europeans
Singapore?
came,
Hold on. How did? Well, hold on. Ask your question. How did Singapore was able to use the same system and become a first world country?
oh come on, bro. We used to
Genesis.
we used to send them aid before independence.
Okay, so let me bring
We
this
used to
point.
send countries
Let
like
me
Singapore aid
right.
and
Let me
Britain
bring this
aid.
point up. Let me bring this point up. So no, Kyla. I haven't even spoken yet.
Somebody's echoing.
I
Hold
haven't
on.
even spoken yet, Kyla. All right. So this is the point I wanted to bring up, and which I brought up in the last space that Dynas had, is if we're talking about when the Republicans are in office, specifically Donald Trump, 2018, August 26th, airstrikes were made on Libya. Donald Trump was in office. A bazillion airstrikes and other interventions into Somalia was made against Shabab, allegedly, against Shabab in Somalia while Donald Trump was in office. The Global Fragility Act was formulated while
Who carried out the airstrikes against Libya in 2018?
the United States. And there's record. I accidentally stumbled on it when I was in your space last time. It's a whole list of airstrikes and interventions that the United States did in other countries. I brought that up in your last room. But that's not the end of it. These other things happen as well when Donald Trump says, "Oh, we have nothing against. I don't want to. I'm not interested in Africa. I want to." No, that's some bullshit. And they're giving money to Israel.
Hey,
Right.
somebody's echoing. Somebody's echoing. That's you, Koja. That's you,
Right.
Koja. You're on your
They're giving.
Koja, you're on your Obama phone, Koja. You're echoing.
You have to mute up, Koja. They're giving billions of dollars to Israel while Donald Trump is in office. They're giving monies to Ukraine. Well, he wasn't. I don't think he was in office with the Ukraine situation. But I will say this about Ukraine is that Ukraine had to come up with some money in the beginning. Now more money has been given to Ukraine for military stuff. But guess what? United States is providing the military stuff, so they're giving them money, and then they're providing them, the arms and all of this stuff. But Ukraine had to come up with $1 billion, more than $1 billion, in the billions of dollars. It's Google. All you have to do is Google it. What Ukraine had to give up in the beginning, they had to pay the United States a bunch of money, and they did that, and the United States started supplying. Now, I believe we've surpassed that by pretty far in terms of our support for Ukraine, but it wasn't like they didn't have to give up something. I'll land right there.
What were the airstrikes for in Libya in 2018?
It doesn't say what they were for, but we can imagine if you're striking with bombs, an airstrike means bombing.
Well, but the thing is, Gaddafi was already gone in 2008 by 2018.
There you go. So one of the things I heard is that they destroyed the infrastructure of Libya. Not only did they kill Gaddafi, but they destroyed a lot of the projects that he was doing. Why? To keep them in the fucking dark ages or send them back to fucking development.
No,
right?
most of the stuff that he was doing was just impractical.
It doesn't matter if it's impractical. Why are you bombing it? Why, if it's impractical, what's the point in bombing it? So you guys need to stop with this. Donald Trump is not concerned about Africa.
They bombed it because he killed U.S. servicemen.
You need to stop.
That's a nonsense.
Stop.
That's
You need to
nonsense.
stop.
The bottom line, remember something in 2000, I think it was 2014, 13, Condoleezza Rice met with Gaddafi and normalized relationship with him. And Libya's stock exchange, written in Arabic, was like booming. American companies were listed on Europe, and America had investments in Libya. That's what the whole Benghazi thing was all about.
Gaddafi died in 2011.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about 2005. I'm thinking 2005.
I've been smoking Gaddafi pack since.
But remember when George Bush sent Condoleezza Rice over there, and Gaddafi was like, "Oh man, she's so beautiful, a black woman." Remember that? You know, they normalized relationship, and American companies were in there on the Libyan stock exchange. You know, Libya had like one of the biggest stock exchanges on the continent, and I was like, "Wow!" And they said they want to back everything and have African companies listed on the stock exchange using gold dinar as a backing. Now, this idea that George W. Bush, some say he was a neocon and he was trying to get money out of Gaddafi and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is Obama, you know, he was with that Arab Spring. Obama went around telling the Arab world you need to rise up and all this kind of stuff like that. And it triggered. Libya was like the last country. It hit Tunisia. It hit Egypt. It hit all these Arab countries. And then Libya was like, we had no reason for Arab Spring because the Libyan people had the highest standard of living in the Middle East and one of the highest standard of living in the world. They weren't suffering. So what was the reason why they were rising up against Gaddafi? They had no reason. It's just that Obama saw an opportunity to look like a hero. He blundered he said himself, he blundered in history. That was a big mistake.
Gaddafi was an op. That's why they took him out.
How was he op? The bottom line, he normalized
to Africa, and he was the op to America.
Yeah, but how do you people say that, right? Gaddafi was investing billions of dollars in the continent and major projects.
Only to leverage Africa.
Yeah, but the bottom line, you can say what? So the IMF and the World Bank, the IMF and the World Bank don't do the same thing.
Yep, he cared nothing about Africa.
So America does, and America does.
Indigenous Libyans.
America does.
In that drinking water and shit, Colin.
No, actually,
y'all with this savior complex.
All right, guys, one mic. Are you done, Colin?
No, I gotta finish what I'm saying.
Colin, your phone is.
Yeah, I'm in my car right now. I'm moving home.
You got to get off the 90. I mean, you need 85 Accord. I mean, golly, it's
yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm sitting in the car watching my movers. The movers are moving my stuff from one office to another, so I got to sit out and watch them. Anyway, and my phone keeps getting hot because I'm in my car, so it keeps cutting off because the temperature thing says it's too hot. So I turn my car on with the AC on, and so I got the AC on, so it should be all right. So the bottom line is this. Check this out, because Gaddafi, and I'm no fan of Gaddafi. I think, you know, he was playing Africans and everything, but the bottom line is he came out, he wrote checks. He invested like $50 million in Liberia alone. He was going to redo the Ducor Hotel. He invested in Liberia's agriculture.
That's strategic. Liberia has ties to
America. The thing is,
he's only trying to cripple America.
You know, look, in 2024, right? I only believe black people only have permanent interests.
America from Liberia.
Hold on. We have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies. We don't have permanent interests. And so in the interest of Africa, right, and Gaddafi wants to bring his money, so what? If it don't serve us, then screw him. He was coming with the money. You know, African countries need capital. They don't have the
Bro,
money.
America's coming with money too.
No, America's not coming with more money in Africa.
America is
America's
coming with
not coming
money.
with no money in
You
Africa.
just gotta accept LGBT with it. That's all.
No, America's not coming with
You
any
gotta
real
accept the
money in Africa.
LGBT with it.
Hey,
That's
Dinas,
all.
am I missing something here?
Nah,
Where's
you're not
America?
missing. America ain't
America's
coming
never
with
given a bit more than $1 billion to any single African country. That's $1 billion for the whole continent. America gives Israel $30 billion, $10 billion a year. That little tiny state. That's
Right.
coming with money.
And the amount of resources they're taking out of Africa is
Well, name the resources.
alone.
Hold on. Name the resources America's taking out of Africa. I'm gonna tell you, you don't know what you're talking about.
Coltan,
Okay,
uranium.
hold on. That's not going to America.
No. What? Oh,
The Chinese are mining it
no,
and making it content. So you don't even know what you're talking about.
But United States is also involved in the
Who's China's
what?
biggest trading partner, Kala?
and we know
What? So in other
Who's
words,
China's
basically,
biggest trading partner,
you guys skip over China and blame the United States.
One mic. Let me pass it to John. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Kala, your quality is really bad. You need to fix your
John.
quality.
Yeah, Kyle, you got to use a different phone, Kyle. Go ahead,
That's that damn cricket.
Go ahead, Kyle. I mean, Jonathan.
I think it's very weird that a lot of y'all on here are talking about Gaddafi. He had his own interests in mind when he was serving Africa. So what? Russia has the same interests in mind. They're not doing things because they just love Africa. They got their own interests in mind.
Africa though?
China, brother. The very same thing that everyone else complains about. Oh, countries are switching over from back in the West to going over to the Russian side or the Chinese side. They're doing things for their own country and for their own interests. So why would y'all get up here now automatically be like, well, Libya,
Right,
Gaddafi,
if
he was just
why was
doing
he
things for his
poisoning
own
the
people.
drinking water of
You
indigenous
gotta carry that.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
You gotta carry that across the board. No one goes to other countries looking out for other countries. They're trying to do things for their own best interest. Now, there was a time period, if you was in the United States of America and you wanted to contact anybody in Africa, you had to contact Europe first. He installed the satellite to make sure people can contact the African continent directly. Y'all complain about some weird shit.
Man, hey, if he was concerned about Libya, why was he poisoning the drinking
Brother,
water
Libya was
of
better
indigenous
off.
Libyans? To
Why
force
was
Libya was
them
better
off of
off.
their
You
land?
can't deny the fact that they was better off.
Okay, can you answer that question?
Can you
There's
answer why
indigenous
this
black Libyans
airstrike?
that he
That
was
was a lie.
poisoning
That's a
their
lie.
drinking water. Why was he doing that?
Prove that. They can't prove that. That was a lie.
How can I prove that?
That was a lie. It was never happened. You show me the evidence. Show me the article. Show me any evidence. Dude, you guys get up on social media and just say anything.
Why was airstrikes going on during his administration, and why is Africa Command growing in Africa during his administration? Why? Answer that.
Well, I do know this. Hold on. Check this out. Gaddafi built the first irrigation system in the desert when I showed the world that Africa, the Sahara Desert, could be green and plant crops in there and whatnot. He did that. Does he get credit for that? No.
It's a desert for a reason.
Who was the number beneficiary of that? The so-called indigenous black people of the desert down there, the Tuaregs and everybody else.
Yes, the Tuareg. He was poisoning their drinking water.
And how was he poisoning his drinking water? He was the one who gave them the aqueduct system.
I got a question.
He did that for major city in Libya.
Where do you get the cereal box?
Are you
He did that
anti-Trump
for the
people?
major city in Libya where he resided. He's not
You
doing that.
anti-Trump people?
So the bottom line is this: look at one of the most beautiful cities. Now,
You anti-Trump people. Do y'all ever look at the sanctions that Democrats have put on African countries for the most dumbest crap?
It doesn't
Threatening
matter.
countries that if you don't allow LGBTQ to spread in your country, we're going to put sanctions on you. Do y'all support that shit?
Do you realize it doesn't matter who's in office? They're going to carry out the foreign policy.
Actually, it does matter because Republicans don't push that crap on African countries.
But they're doing airstrikes on motherfucking countries.
And when you have just a second, brother, how many times has Joe Biden struck African countries since he's been in power?
That's why I said it doesn't matter if it's Democrat or
How many
Republican carrying out the
times?
foreign
So
policy.
why are you caping so hard for Democrats?
I'm not. I don't give a fuck about Democrats or
Brother,
Republicans.
brother,
The
you are
African
caping
policy
hard than I
is the
have ever
same.
seen
The
anyone cape
Israel
hard.
policy is the
You
same.
cape hard for Democrats
No.
worse than
Listen, brother.
liberals in San Francisco cape for
Listen,
them.
brother. It doesn't matter. The Israel policy is going to be the same. The African policy is going to be the same. Donald Trump went down there to Israel and put the damn embassy in a place that it wasn't. That it was very controversial and it should have been. He's up in the ante for the Zionists.
Shah, one second. What were your thoughts on Trump's Abraham Accords?
Abraham Accord?
Yeah.
I don't know about it. Can you tell us about it?
You don't know about the Abraham Accords?
I would like to know about it, though. I hope that you can tell
I
us.
mean, let me ask you this: Did the Palestine-Israel conflict did it escalate like this under Trump?
No, the big, fight back, but it's been a constant berating of pushing the Palestinians further and further into nothingness, and they haven't let up. They continue to do that. So even when there wasn't necessarily a big media blitz because they bombed a part of Gaza or something, they have continuously been messing them people up continuously. And
Okay,
so
but did it escalate to this point?
and the escalation really is Gaza or Hezbollah bombing the shit out of Israel. So when they fight back a little bit, now it's escalated. When in fact they've been getting fucked up since the time that they went in there in the 40s.
Okay, under Trump, did we have the Russia-Ukraine conflict under Trump that we have right now?
No, under Trump, no. But I would say that I don't give a damn about that. I care about Africa, and under Trump, Africa Command has grown under Trump.
Okay, so under Trump, what African leaders were assassinated at the hand of Trump?
Gaddafi was killed back in what that was back
2011.
That was Obama. That was Democrat.
Yeah.
It was Obama.
So again, they're upping the ante with Africa Command. They're further escalating it through these bills, through these acts. Brought that up before. What is the Global Fragility Act? It is United States agencies carrying out their missions through their partners. Their partners are who? Ado of Ghana, whoever the president of Mozambique is, whoever the president of Ouattara, Ouattara of Ivory Coast.
Can you be specific on what the mission is
of the Global Fragility Act?
Yes,
is to secure partnerships with the countries that are been earmarked for potential insurgencies of and destabilizations of their country. So they identify these countries. Listen to these countries now. Now the ones that we don't really know, right? Ghana, really? Ghana's not doesn't seem to be in that position, but we know Ivory Coast is questionable. Well, Alassane Ouattara doing a constitutional coup there. Mozambique, I don't really know about Mozambique, but Haiti is one of the countries, and Papua New Guinea and Libya, Haiti, and Papua New Guinea, Ghana, Ivory Coast,
another. Okay, you brought up Haiti. Who was when the president was assassinated in Haiti? Was it under Trump or Biden?
Moises. I don't think Trump was in office.
It was under Biden.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or Republican.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? All these assassinations, Shah, listen. All these destabilizations of countries and all these assassinations were happening under Democrats, not under Trump.
And airstrikes are happening. Yeah, but the airstrikes are happening under.
Again, we're talking assassinations and full coups were happening under Obama and Biden, and you keep pointing to some.
What happened with Bush? But we're not talking about Bush Jr. or Bush Sr. What happened?
Listen, I don't care about. I'm voting for Trump. I don't care about Bush.
But you're making
Trump. I'm voting for Trump.
Okay, but you're making an argument about me saying it doesn't matter between whatever party's in office.
No, what I'm saying is
now you're saying that Trump is an exception.
I need you to point out how Trump was going around the world destabilizing countries and assassinating leaders.
He wasn't doing
What
that.
I'm saying is that it's not Trump.
That's all. That's
It's
all.
not
That's all I'm
about
trying to say.
Trump necessarily about Trump. It's about, it doesn't matter because even when Trump was in office, money was going to Israel. He was doing shit in Israel.
Okay.
Africa Command was
Again,
was
Bashar, you keep
That's
ignoring.
not a point, bro. Money always
He's
goes
like
to
you
Israel.
moving the
America has always
goalposts.
had the thing with Israel, bro.
Right. They have a foreign policy that will be carried out no matter who's in the office. That's the point.
All right, go ahead, Jonathan. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Jonathan.
but it still doesn't prove your original point because Israel was not in war with Palestine.
It's Jonathan's time. Go ahead, Jonathan. Unmute yourself, Jonathan.
Nah, you can let somebody else go.
Okay.
I really don't know what to say about this brother.
Okay.
Can I continue, Dynast?
Well, is that on call?
Yeah, Omkal. Yeah.
Go ahead,
Dynas,
Omkal.
this is what I can do. I can say. Do you think that if Trump, let's say Trump was in office at that time, or even when he was in office in 2016, and then that opportunity to invade and attack Libya came up, you remember that Trump had one of like the former CIA director is Secretary of State, Mark Pompeo, and the warmonger, who's the other guy who was on foreign policy? Yeah. Do you think that if they, all these service came to him and told him, hey, in Libya, this is the opportunity in Libya. We can, the American company will gain control of this oil, the way how now they're doing it. Do you think Trump could have said no? Because
it's a hypothetical question. He didn't. So, I mean, he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Trump would have said no because Trump doesn't want billions of his country's money going into funding a war in some other country. Trump, you all know Trump is against that. Trump has said it so many times himself. So we're tired of being the international police, bruv. Trump does not want billions of their money going to some country to fight war against them. Trump literally pointed this out by himself multiple times. Trump said, Trump likes to flex his wings a lot and brag. He literally bragged about the fact that he is the only president in the past 12 years that has not had issues with Russia when he was president. So when under Obama, there was a thing going on with Crimea, right? Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. We know that under Biden, that was when this whole bullshit started with Russia's invading Ukraine. Yeah. Trump had just been left office.
And on the same point, do you know that Trump, as I said again, Trump offered Ukraine a lot of weaponry than Obama. What you're saying that? And also Trump, did you hear what Trump said about Palestine and Israel, for example? What he said he can do?
In the war. He said he can end the war.
He said he's gonna let Israel do whatever it can do. And like
he said, Trump said he's going to end the war. That's what he said.
End the war? Guys, you remember what Trump did when he came to, when he was in power? Somebody also has pointed it, moving like the embassy, the US embassy which was in Tel Aviv.
Okay, who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
That's already.
Listen, Trump's main political agenda, Trump does not give a damn about sponsoring wars in what he calls shithole countries. Trump is an American nationalist focused on affairs within America, which is why he focuses so much on like the border control and things like that. He is centrally focused on inside of America and growing America as a state. He doesn't care about what's going on in that country.
For example, on border issue, do you know that Trump is the one who messed up the Venezuelan situation?
How did he mess up Venezuela's situation?
Oh, Trump is the one who plotted the coup against Hugo Chavez. You remember? You don't remember? I'll send the video. He even said that during his time, when he left office, he said during his time, Venezuela was about to fall. Guys, and during Trump, even Nicaragua, Trump, the US had issues.
Just send something that said Trump plotted the coup.
Let me. How can I send you the video? It's here already. Man, guys,
again, just send it to me. If Trump, whoa, when did Hugo Chavez die?
Let me send you this.
Hold on, when did Hugo Chavez die?
Hugo died in
Hold
20.
on, dude. Hugo Chavez died in 2013. Trump
It
didn't
was
become
Nicolas
president.
Maduro.
Oh, man, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out. Let me pass it on. Sekou. Go ahead, Sekou. Go ahead, Sekou. Hugo Chavez died in
How can I
2000.
send you? Can I send you link?
Hugo
Yeah.
Chavez died in 2013. Trump did become president in 2016. We got to move on. Go ahead, Sekou.
Private chat.
Yeah, peace and blessing. I just want to make a few comments on Trump. Honestly speaking, it's not, most of us who don't like Trump, people think it's because we read the fake news media and the propaganda. No, we listen to the man.
Okay.
Trump, according to what Farrakhan best described Trump, he said Trump is someone who represents the peeling off of the onions of Western civilization. Somebody who just says things that white people usually say secretly. So that doesn't make him better.
Sekou, why are you okay? So why are you
Wouldn't
bothered
you
by
want to know what white people
let
say
me finish.
secretly?
Yeah,
Let
but
me
Sekou,
finish.
this is where I'm
No,
confused.
now this is
No,
how you guys do.
I got it.
Don't let-
You're not gonna overtalk me on my show, first of all. So let me.
Yeah, but you over talking me.
You're
You don't let me
not
finish.
gonna overtalk me on my show.
Mute him, Dynasty.
Thank you. So Farrakhan, the guy that said he's gonna separate from the white man and build a country of his own from the white man, and who was always talking about the ending of Western society. Like, you should want this. You guys should want this. You should want the peeling of the onion of Western society. That's what Farrakhan preaches about. That's what his doctrine is based on. The white man is the devil. So what does it matter? I'll meet you.
Yeah, I don't know how is it a fair discussion if I'm not allowed to complete a sentence.
No, but I just responded to your statement from Farrakhan. Why does it matter if the onion
but
is
at least I've been here for a while and I kept quiet. So if it is my time, let me finish. Even if you don't like it,
I don't like it, but can we? I just want to make sure we take it by point by point. What does it matter to Farrakhan if Western society?
Yeah, but I'm just citing what he said to make my point. So if you don't like Farrakhan, that's fine.
No, I like Farrakhan, but I'm asking, what does it matter? How does it prove your point if you're citing Farrakhan in regards to the destruction of Western society?
His description of Trump.
Okay, but what does it matter? If that's
it matters because I agree with it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so why does it matter to you?
So that's what I'm coming to.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I will give you an example of why I said that. What Trump does is just to peel off the onions of Western civilization, which is just based in hypocrisy. When they write and say we the people, they don't refer to all people, they refer to themselves. We've seen that in their history, that even when they say we the people write the Constitution, they never meant Black people and women, they meant themselves. So they say something and what they really mean is different. That's all I'm saying. So what Trump does, he say it exactly the way it is, and people think that makes him better. No, it's just that he talks a lot, and he's just a guy who just doesn't do the way they do it to say it in another way. That's all.
I really don't care what somebody's saying. All I care is what somebody doing. Trump ain't did nothing.
Because somebody is an
bro.
idiot.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
it's
because
about what he's
somebody's an
doing, bro.
idiot
Not what
and
he's
say,
saying.
I'm going to
Words
kill
is
you.
words.
Yeah, I'm coming because somebody said I'm going to kill you, and the other person said we're going to have a fight. Doesn't make any of them better. They all going to attack me.
Trump did
That's
neither.
all.
So that's super extreme. That's a bad example.
He does allow me to finish.
But Sekou, I got a
you
question.
guys are in your feelings. You are in your feelings. You don't allow people to finish.
Sekou, I have a question for you. What does the founding of America got to do with Trump? What is the founding of America got to do with Trump?
This is no longer
Dinus,
about
let's
the truth.
convince this guy. Dinus, look up this video here. It says,
I wonder, because he brought up the founding of the country where Black people.
Yeah, I'm making an example, and you guys
Dinus,
wouldn't
I
allow
want
me
you to
to
look up this
finish.
video. The name of the video is Donald Trump Hussein.
Hold on, Justin. Hold on. Your examples make no point. That's what I'm saying. You got to come better, Sekou. Come on.
Okay, let me just finish. Then you can talk it, Dinah, if you are ready. Once I'm done, I'll keep quiet and I'll let you to do. You can be able to kind of look at what I've said and then critique.
I'm just trying to understand your points because I don't get it.
So Donald Trump, let's come to Africom.
Okay.
Africom deals is a U.S. Africom. We all know what Africom is. Basically, the U.S. commander has to deal with Africa, their intelligence and all of that. So I'm looking at and some of the crises that happened in Africa during Trump term, and what was his policy. Let's start with Africom. So the Africom was established. It is one of his headquarters in Germany. Trump came in. He wanted to spend even close to $1 trillion. He wanted to move it. I don't know where. He said because it's not effective in Germany. So he wants to move it, I think, to Belgium or where and where. He wanted to spend even up to $1 trillion. And people were telling him, why is Africa so important? You want to spend $1 trillion to move the headquarters of Africom to another place to build it better. He said, yeah, he wants to. If Africa doesn't matter to Trump, why does he want to spend $1 trillion to reestablish the headquarters of Africom?
Nothing costs. Nothing costs.
You can tell Washington
Whoa, dude,
Washington Post.
Whoa. I need you to show me facts. No, hold on.
Yeah, it's in the Washington Post. I want to give you the source now.
Say cool. I need you to give me facts where moving Africom costs $1 trillion. Okay.
Yes.
So you're telling me that moving Africom costs $1 trillion?
Yes.
But get the hell out of here. Cool. Say cool.
Let me give you. You want that source?
Get the hell out of here, man.
Okay.
No. Say cool. You're not moving forward until you show me proof that Africom to move it costs $1 trillion.
You want the source?
I want you to give me the source. Go ahead.
No. Listen.
No.
Let me finish. Calm down. Calm down.
Cool. I want you, before we move forward.
Man, Diners, I don't believe it. You are doing this. You don't even let people talk.
You're not going over talk.
What, he's holding you accountable?
Kashta, hold on. Sekou, before we move forward, I need you to provide proof that moving Africom is $1 trillion. That's it. And we can continue.
Because you guys don't let people talk. So you mix up people's thought. It's not. Really,
I'm just saying, show proof that it costs $1 trillion. That's it.
Yes. So I'm coming. I was about article source, the name of the writer, and on Washington Post.
Okay.
You just jump in.
You don't. Yeah.
That's why I say allow people to talk.
Okay.
Then you can critique them fairly. Okay.
Give it to me.
All right. Okay. Listen. I just said I was speaking, but you were not listening. I said I misspoke. It's 1 billion. Not 1 trillion.
Exactly. Thank you. Okay, it's 1 billion. Okay,
$1 billion. So the article, I'm saying the name now. It's written by Dan Lamott, Dan Dan Lamott Lamothe. Wait. Let me give you the date. September.
I have it right here.
Yeah, 1 billion.
I have the article, and you were wrong.
No, 1 billion. Okay, and he didn't. So this is the man who has nothing to do with Africa. He doesn't care about it. And here it is. Now, let's talk about Ethiopia and Egypt war. You can also check the article. Trump was asked that because America bankroll Egypt every year at millions of dollars to keep their military. Hold on. No, let me done. This is not nice. You see, they are scary.
I'm not scared of nothing. I'm just asking a question. This is my follow-up question to Africa because I'm reading the article. Let's read this article, Sekou. Let's read this article. All right, you're not gonna yell on here. All right.
Let me finish.
No, you're not. We're gonna focus on Africom, then we can move forward. Hold on. Let's focus on Africom. I got questions. I got questions for you because you brought up Africa. Okay, you brought up Africa. That was your drop the mic moment.
Let me finish the other point.
Okay, so the Trump administration is considering moving U.S. Africa Command. It won't be cheap or easy. The Trump administration, again, his administration, effort to relocate the U.S. military headquarters that oversees operations in Africa could cost at least $1 billion, not trillion, and create new diplomatic and logistical challenges, according to current and former defense officials. Defense Secretary Mark T. Esper directed U.S. Africa Command. So this wasn't Trump himself. This was his defense secretary. Directed U.S. Africa.
Are you kidding me?
I'm reading the article. Can I read the article?
So Trump administration is not Trump.
Can I read the article? Can I finish the article? Let me finish the article.
Go ahead.
Defense Secretary Mark T. Esper directed U.S. Africa Command earlier this summer to begin examining, keyword examining, a possible, keyword possible, move from Germany to reduce the overall number of U.S. troops in the country. The plan also included moving U.S. European Command, located alongside Africa Command in the city of Stuttgart, so they have a U.S. European Command as well, I didn't know that, to a new home in Belgium. Defense officials have framed the changes as a way to deter Russia by making the United States more unpredictable. But President Trump has cast them as a punishment for Germany. Germany's delinquent. They haven't paid their fees. They haven't paid their NATO fees, Trump said in July. Germany owes billions and billions of dollars to NATO. Despite President's repeated claim, no NATO fees exist. But in 2014, NATO countries agreed to each increase their defense spending to 2% of their gross domestic product within a decade. Germany has not met that goal, making it a target for Trump. Moving Africa Command, also known as Africom, will increase the cost of reducing the U.S. military presence in Germany, which defense officials say will reach several $billions. The discussions are focused on sending the headquarters to another NATO ally in Europe, possibly Spain, Italy, Belgium, or Britain, said two defense officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity, because of the sensitivity of the issue. Military officials also will consider moving Africa Command to the United States, one of the defense officials said. So Africom is not even based in Africa, it's in Europe.
Come on, let me explain. That's why I'm coming to you.
See, now we're
Diana, are you looking for truth? What
happened to that $1 trillion dude was talking about?
No, I corrected. You guys are gaslighting. You don't listen to people. You talk over people. You don't listen to other people's opinion.
I just want to get a better understanding. I'm reading the article you gave me.
I'm the one who gave you the source. So allow me to elaborate instead of you are talking over me.
I'm reading the article. Let me read the article to the people.
But I didn't want you to read the entire article. I just wanted you to make the point.
Of course you
didn't. I didn't say read it.
Of course you didn't want me to read. Well, first of all,
of course you didn't want him to read the entire article. You've seen that your point is not valid, bro.
Yeah, he didn't want me to read the article because
the man said trillion with a T.
Well, exactly. When I called out the trillion BS, let me get the article. But now he doesn't want me to read the article because now we're getting into.
And we just found out that shit is not even in Africa.
No, it's because you guys don't listen to people to talk. And this is Trump. This is what MAGA do. This is MAGA behavior.
We listen, but again,
this is why Trump supporters, they think they know everything. They don't listen to people.
You don't know everything. You said $1 trillion. Then you brought up
I did correct it before you read the article. I said it was $1 billion. Before you read the article, I said you were not listening.
And then you brought up Louis
I said I misspoke. It was $1 billion. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Yeah. If you know you have the truth, they allow people to talk. Now, I said if Africa is not important, because the headquarters of Africom, every year, every administration in Nigeria, the U.S. sends delegation to every president in Nigeria, I think since the last 20 years or so, to accept Africom to be stationed in Nigeria, and they always refuse. And they are still on it as we speak. So I'm asking if Trump doesn't care about Africa, a shithole, but he keep the Africa. He keeps it moving. He's prepared to even spend $1 billion to be able to move his headquarters. Now, I was speaking on Ethiopia, and let me finish now. Let me finish. Let me just be done, and I will be quiet. I will talk.
You ain't gonna talk over me. I'm gonna tell you that.
Post moving.
Sekou, why did Trump want to move Africom from Germany?
Because he said he wants to punish Germany because they are not paying their fair share with NATO. Those are the excuses given.
Okay.
But my question to you, since Africa is irrelevant, why don't you scrap it?
You're not gonna talk over me. Why did he?
No, I'm the one talking, not you.
You're not gonna talk over me.
But I'm the one talking.
It's my show. Shut up. All right. So also in Germany is U.S. European Command. So why did Donald Trump want to leave? Why did Donald Trump want to move U.S. European Command and Africom? Why, Sekou?
No, I'm going to leave since you tell me shut up. I find it disrespectful, so I'm leaving.
Okay, bye. All right.
Dynast, I was gonna tell you to watch this video. It's called Donald Trump,
Well, my
World
thing,
Better with Hussein and
I do,
Gaddafi in power. Watch the video. It's a YouTube video.
but my thing is, like, tell the full story. He wanted Africom and U.S. European Command to both leave Germany because Germany wasn't paying their fair share. Be honest. That's what I'm saying. Be honest.
Yeah, he was really talking out of points, to be honest.
Yeah, be honest. I know. Listen,
No, but
I know Trump derangement syndrome when I see it.
you could give him time to express himself and then counter. But don't say,
No, but again, the reason why Trump wanted to move U.S. European Command and Africom from Germany is because Germany wasn't paying their fees. Because I'm under the impression
So
that
in this case, it's more about Germany than Africa. So his point was not even valid.
that's my point, and he knows that. Sekou ain't stupid. He knows that. Like, he knows that. The reason why he wanted to remove Africom and U.S. European Command from Germany was because Germany was not paying their NATO fees, and that's the point. That's what I'm saying. That's the point.
Dinas, can you play the video I sent you of Trump bragging about Syria?
I mean, Castro, does that make sense? So it's like, dude,
play the video I sent you. Of Trump, Dinas, bragging about Syria and what he did in Venezuela. Then
hold on. Okay, hold on. Hold on one second. Let me play this video. Okay, which minute mark is we can't watch it?
Yeah, from the beginning. From the beginning, he starts with him bragging. It's okay.
Okay, hold on. I'm playing right now.
It's full of Trump and
okay.
Democrats and
let me play. Oh, hold on. It's on mute. Hold on. Let me mute it.
Are taking the oil. Venezuela. How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. Excuse me, I didn't. I'm the one that gave Ukraine offensive weapons and tank killers. Obama didn't. You know what he sent? He sent pillows and blankets.
We here are focused on geopolitics and economics. It's very obvious. It's in our name. And an issue that I often try to avoid is domestic partisan U.S. politics. It's very frustrating to talk about domestic U.S. politics because people tend to be very dogmatic and very partisan. They pick a party, the Republicans or the Democrats. They defend them no matter what. They treat the political party like a sports team or a superhero that can do no wrong. This is despite the fact that, ironically, the Republican and Democratic parties share a lot of their policies in common. The foreign policy that they carry out is 95% the same. This bipartisan orthodoxy. Much of their economic policy is the same. And yet people get angry if you criticize a Democrat, they think that you're a Republican, or if you criticize a Republican, they think that you're secretly a Democrat. So before I begin today, I simply want to emphasize that I am not in any way trying to defend the Democratic Party and Joe Biden, who has been a horrific president, which is why his approval rating is so extremely low. But I am going to be talking about Donald Trump and the fact of the matter that Donald Trump is not a so-called threat to the deep state. He's not a threat to the elites. Donald Trump is himself a billionaire elite who is funded by many prominent billionaires on Wall Street, as I'll be speaking about today. And when Donald Trump was president, his foreign policy was very similar to the foreign policy of the Republican and Democratic presidents who came before him. He continued supporting wars around the world, backing coups and regime change operations, imposing sanctions on foreign countries. Donald Trump personally ordered assassinations of foreign politicians, which is quite ironic today. And the simple fact is there were many, many more similarities than there were differences in the very hawkish, belligerent foreign policy of Donald Trump as there were with the foreign policy of Obama and George Bush and Bill Clinton and Ronald Reagan and Joe Biden. The fact of the matter is that for decades, every single US president has been a war criminal who has waged war around the world, tried to overthrow foreign governments. Donald Trump is no exception to that. However, many of Trump's supporters are claiming that he was targeted because he is an enemy of the deep state and that there was a deep state attempt to assassinate him.
Okay, so can you give me specifics on call?
Yeah. So what I want, there is many specific. So what I wanted to say is that it just, especially for us African American, yes, I understand that a lot of people, this vote is strategic, so as to to get leverage over the Democrats, giving up with a better policy. But when it comes to foreign policy, my brother, until when we start voting as a group,
I asked for specifics.
Specifics are that, for example, let's go to when it comes to the southern border immigration. People have to understand that I'm not condoning that. I'm not encouraging that. We have the government has to do stuff to stop that. But we have to understand that it's because of bad foreign policy in these countries. That's why people are.
Okay. Let me I guess make my question more clear. These assassins. I know the Iranian general. He took him.
The Iraqi general as well. You remember?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Who else?
War in Israel. Under Trump, it will be worse than how it is under Obama. I mean, under Biden.
But war under Trump was already in office. A war in Israel did not escalate at the level that is at now.
It was not escalated, but because that time Hamas hadn't yet attacked Israel. What they did on October 7th. But
right, so we can't use that as an example because it wasn't at this level under Trump when he was in office.
So let's wish. For example, I'm leaning voting Trump, but what I'm trying to say is that if Trump comes into office, for example, the way how the Democrats are a little bit shaken.
No, but again, he brought up his foreign policy, okay, and I'm not going to deny that it's not somewhat similar. But what I'm saying is,
let me give you an example in Africa. What will happen?
Look at Ukraine and Russia.
Yes.
Look at Palestine and Israel.
Yes.
Look at Libya. This didn't happen under Trump.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But Trump also, because you have to it's like disease. When we are diagnosed with diabetes, it doesn't mean that year that when you got diabetes. That is only when the symptoms or the manifestation.
We're using hypotheticals. I'm just going off of under Trump.
Yes.
We didn't have Russia, Ukraine. We didn't have Israel, Palestine. We didn't have Libya.
Yeah.
So I'm just help me out. We didn't have Syria. Well, Syria was still going on, but Obama's the one that initiated Syria and Libya. I'm just trying to figure out what big conflict did Trump initiate?
In Venezuela, he tried to assassinate Maduro and install the U.S.-backed guy who.
Okay. If you can do me a favor, just put in the chat room a link to the assassination attempt.
Oh, it's man, he done that.
I'm just saying, just like I asked Sekou, and then we're gonna read the article, and don't get upset that when we read the article, or whatever, don't get upset. Let's say cool and like, well, I put and that's what I'm saying. Just give me the proof, and then
I'll send you that. And let me tell you, see, like in Niger, do you think that if Trump comes to power, is gonna be like, let's back off from Niger and Burkina Faso and let's African deal be free?
If I don't know if I mean everything is if I mean, I didn't know when Trump's already been in office for 4 years. I'm just asking, give me Trump's Russia-Ukraine war, give me Trump's Palestine-Israel war, give me Trump's Libya, give me Trump's Syria. That's all I'm asking.
All right, you heard himself, the man himself in that video spoke about Russia, I mean Syria, and he spoke about what about Venezuela. So those are two.
No, but who initiated the Syrian war?
Okay, there you go now. Yes, it's not him who initiated it.
It was Obama.
It's the same with Libya. It's not Obama who initiated it. Libya was under U.S. and Western attack for 40 years.
Hold on, no, we're not gonna do that. You're being disingenuous. Hold on. We're about to pull this up right now. Hold on 1 second. We're gonna listen to all. We're gonna listen.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect Libyan civilians. That action has now begun. In this effort, the United States is acting with a broad coalition that is committed to enforcing United Nations Security Council Resolution 1973, which calls for the protection of the Libyan people. That coalition met in Paris today to send a unified message, and it brings together many of our European and Arab partners. This is not an outcome that the United States or any of our partners sought. Even yesterday, the international community offered Muammar Gaddafi the opportunity to pursue an immediate ceasefire, one that stopped the violence against civilians and the advances of Gaddafi's forces. But despite the hollow words of his government, he has ignored that opportunity. His attacks on his own people have continued. His forces have been on the move. And the danger faced by the people. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not refusing that it's during Obama that when the leader of Jamahiriya, Gaddafi, was killed. But I'm trying to show you that that's the culmination. But the plan.
What I'm saying, I'm gonna pass it back to you.
Okay.
You cannot compare Trump's foreign policy to the Bushes, to the Clintons, to Obama, to Biden. Not even close. We'll continue.
It's the difference might be 2 to 5%. I'm telling you.
Oh goodness. Okay.
So we doing statistics now.
Yes.
Dynast, I want you to check out this video. I've been saying it so many times. The name of the video is, just type it on YouTube. Donald Trump, world better with Gaddafi in power. Just type it up. Basically, what happened was he was explaining that he shouldn't have just given these rebels weapons in the first place. In Syria, in Libya, that Barack Obama messed up. Like what he did, he just messed up because now it's even worse than the way it was when Gaddafi was in charge. There was a more centralized state when Gaddafi was in charge.
Hold on 1 second. Let me pull it up.
Donald Trump, world is better with.
I got it.
He said that the Middle East would be better off with Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, and Assad in power. How does...
I didn't say Assad, but we certainly have not gained anything with Gaddafi. And you look at what happened. I mean, look at Libya. Look at Iraq. Iraq used to be no terrorists. He would kill the terrorists immediately. It was like, now it's the Harvard of terrorism. Iraq. If you look at Iraq from years ago, I'm not saying he was a nice guy, he was a horrible guy, but it was a lot better than it is right now. Right now, Iraq is a training ground for terrorists. Right now, Libya, nobody even knows Libya. Frankly, there is no Iraq and there is no Libya. It's all broken up. They have no control. Nobody knows what's going on.
So the world would be better off with Saddam Hussein
100%.
and Gaddafi in power?
100%. Now, as far as Assad is concerned.
What about the human rights abuses?
Let's talk. Well, you don't think they're happening now? They're worse now than they ever were. People are getting their heads chopped.
Exactly.
Drowned. Right now, they're far worse than they were ever under Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi. I mean, look what happened. Libya is a catastrophe. You look at our ambassador as an example, okay? Libya is a disaster. Iraq is a disaster. Syria is a disaster. The whole Middle East. And it all blew up around Hillary Clinton and around Barack Obama. It all blew up. Now, one thing about Assad, not a good guy. I understand that. But we're backing and spending billions and billions of dollars on backing rebels that we have no idea who they are. And a lot of people think they're ISIS. I happen to think they're ISIS, but who knows? But we're spending billions of dollars to get Assad out with people that we have no idea who they are. I don't think that's smart. We have to rebuild our country. Our country is falling to pieces. We have 19 trillion in debt. We have infrastructure that's a disaster. Our roadways, our airports, our schools, everything. We have to start thinking about ourselves. We're pouring trillions of dollars into the Middle East, and we have nothing for it. We have nothing.
There you have it, guys. Convinced or not convinced?
All right, guys. Links in the chat room. Links in the chat room. If you want to call in, link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, link is in.
Anas, can you read the article I just sent you from Black Report, from Black Agenda Report?
Black Agenda Report. Oh boy. Okay. is this a black socialist communist
No.
Black Agenda Report? Oh boy. Put it in the private chat.
All right.
Put it in the private chat. Black Agenda Report. Hold on.
Yes, it's good
Okay.
news, man.
Hold on. Black Agenda.
Oh, you don't like it?
Report.
Listen,
oh boy.
It's a little bit leftist, but
about a little bit leftist. No shit. Okay. I can hold on. Black Agenda Report. There's nothing on about it, but put the link in the chat room. But there's nothing on the about us page. Like this has black socialist communists written all over it.
No, come on, man. You capitalists.
Yeah, that's.
Let me. What's going on with my chat? I put in a chat, but
I hope you guys heard what Trump said. He said these guys were not good guys. We know Gaddafi was committing some crazy shit. Gaddafi had girls he was fucking on the ground. But at the same time, these countries were better with that guy in charge.
Yeah. We understand what he's saying, but the reality is not that. I understand, and I wish if what he was saying that what he did or.
Did you put it in the chat room? The private chat? Okay, here we go. Okay, okay, let's read this. Let's read the article. Here we go. Trump sends gunboats to Venezuela while the world partners to fight a deadly pandemic. The Trump administration has used fabricated narco trafficking charges. Okay, fabricated. All right. How do they know it's fabricated? Let me ask you that. No, let me finish the article. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, let me go back to the article. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Trump sends gunboats to Venezuela while the world partners to fight a deadly pandemic. The Trump administration has used the fabricated narco trafficking charges against Maduro and other officials as an excuse to intensify pressure on Venezuela. As far as the U.S. government's own drug agency is concerned, there is no cocaine or any other narcotic that comes from Venezuela. On April Fool's Day, U.S. President Donald Trump gave a press conference where he announced a new counter-narcotics effort by U.S. Southern Command. We're deploying additional Navy destroyers, combat ships, aircrafts, and helicopters, Coast Guard cutters, doubling our capabilities in the region, he said. The point of this mission will be joined by other countries is to increase surveillance, disruption, and seizures of drug shipments. We must not let narco-terrorists exploit the pandemic to threaten American lives. On March 26, less than a week before Trump's announcement, the U.S. Department of Justice indicted several members of the Venezuelan government for narco trafficking. An indictment is not a verdict of guilt, merely a note in this case, prepared by the U.S. government against an adversary. There is nothing in the indictment that proves the case that any of the individuals mentioned in it have anything to do with narcotics smuggling. It was apparent from the press conference at the U.S. Department of Justice that this was political theater, an attempt to further delegitimize the government of Nicolas Maduro. There is nothing in the indictment that proves the case. Coming less than a week after indictment, it is clear to all that the point is not to actually disrupt the cocaine trade, but it's to put pressure on Venezuela. No evidence was provided during the Department of Justice press conference when the United States charged Maduro with narco trafficking. And no evidence was presented at Trump's press conference when he announced that a naval carrier group would enter the Caribbean. There was no evidence presented. There was no evidence that was presented at Trump's. Okay. There was no evidence presented at either high-profile event because no evidence is either available or necessary. It is not available because even the U.S. government's own agencies say that Venezuela is neither the originator of narcotics nor the trafficker of narcotics. And it is not necessary because the United States has been consistently delegitimizing Venezuela to overthrow the government based on increasingly hallucinatory stories about the Venezuelan government. Okay. All right. Okay, well.
So you understand?
Black Agenda Report.
Yeah. You should
Okay.
I better read this. I better read this instead of reading CNN's.
No. Well, let me say this.
Yeah. It's pro black. Of course, it's a little bit leftist, but it's pro black. It's not pro Democrat.
Well, again, it's a little bit leftist.
I'll say no
black. And listen, let me say this.
And in leftist, I mean a little bit like I would say, by reading the article, I understand that they support some kind of socialistic policies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not
neoliberal
policies.
Okay.
Yeah.
What socialistic policies do they push?
There's no specific, but from my understanding of what because the journal which supports mainly like the Nkrumahs, the Lumumba, the Nyereres, the Malcolm X. So yeah, it's pro-black, and that's better, and it gives factual information for the most part instead of the Wall Street, the Washington Post, the Huffington Post, because there is, if you read, for example, an article about Niger in the Black Agenda Report and read it in the New York Times, you'll see that in the New York Times they are trying to spin a little bit than in Black Agenda. Mm-hmm. It's like what I heard on NPR about Niger. Yeah. Mm-hmm. From that day, I decided I'll never donate any of my money on NPR, because I used to think like NPR at least is kind of centrist, but I remember that it's an American news media, so they will go with American narrative.
Here's Black Beauty. I can't support none of these candidates. This race is highly propagandized, and the American people should revolt. Black stay home. See, I support Black Beauty's comment. I support Black Beauty's comment. Hood Haitian 305, the LGBTQ and communist Africans are hilarious.
Exactly, Carl. No offense, bro. I spoke to you after Diners left in the last.
Yeah, I remember.
Bro, you always sound so communist, like
state office, state. I mean, State Department notice. That you believe in that?
Was that?
You display as Office of Public Affairs, which is under, I think.
Well, no, I'm just giving people the link so they can read the.
Come on. You remember that they said that Saddam Hussein had
right. That's what I'm saying. So I'm just putting it there. So
yeah, you can't display those things, man.
Uncle, what is your thing with socialism? I'm talking to you, Uncle.
Yeah.
You remember the conversation we had after Diners left in the last slide?
I remember. Let me read you this. There is a quote by Michael Parenti, who said this. It is the heart of US policy to use fashion to preserve capitalism while claiming to save democracy from communism. So, socialism, as I said again, socialism didn't work because it was fought by the neoliberal or the liberal, the capitalistic, or the mercantilistic agendas or
I disagree with you. I disagree with you. The only place that applies is Burkina Faso. Everywhere else in the goddamn world, socialism has always failed. I can give you examples upon examples. I've read entire books on this shit, bro. I can give you so many examples. Even in Africa, the ones who even brought that socialism to Africa, because you need to understand, bro, socialism is not an African thing at all. It never has been. Whoever told you that is making you delusional.
Yes, no, I understand. You are totally right. Socialism, be it socialism, like the way how some of our leaders try to take it from the Eastern countries. The same with mercantilism is not our traditional way of life. Our traditional way of life, it's a little bit mixed. There is more of socialism in it, but with some capitalistic elements in it. So it's not only pushing neoliberal policies on us or capitalistic and saying that no, socialism won't work or will never. No, the socialism which they were trying to apply, most of those leaders, not like it was remember back then, most of all those industries were controlled by the
governments,
colonialists first, colonial powers. Then when at independence, they were, what can I say? They were played because they didn't have most of the country. For example, if I take the example of Congo, there was a round table about politics first, then a round table about economy. Now imagine, in that round table there was CEOs who had like doctorate, PhD in economy. And in Congo at that time, we didn't have even somebody with a degree in economy. The Mobutus are the one who went to that round table. Other people who didn't even have any university, education. Because remember at that time,
so basically, you're saying the reason why socialism didn't really work for us was because after the colonials left with their capitalist extractive institutions, we didn't have expertise, so it didn't work for us because we had to consult the white capitalists to actually grow our industries.
Not only that, and also when even in the area where it was well managed, like I gave one on that chat. On that stream which we did about socialism and all this, I gave the example of Nyerere. There was, because remember those industries were installed there. Those companies were installed there by the colonialists, who were mainly capitalists. Countries trying to take socialism out, they were blocked. For example, if a machine fell, broke, and you wanted to replace or to refurbish, to rehabilitate some industries, they were told, no, you can't get this machine from us. You can't get this piece. You can, and that's how most of those industries fell. You see, and it's not only that.
So basically, you're saying sabotage.
Politically, socialism was sabotaged. Politically and even economically, they were sabotaged, and they were war. because war is not only hot war, there is cold war. You see, like Magufuli was fighting a war. Why do you think Magufuli was fighting that war? Because there was some in those contracts which were done, he was legally revising, because there is a way. If a contract was done in a corrupt, not in a equal footing, sometimes if you have a good leader and a lawyer who can defend, there is this court where you can go and defend that this contract need to be reevaluated or changed. And this big corporation didn't like that. That's why there was no good press of Magufuli in international media. It was like, oh, he's a dictator, and during those times, now remember, this is in the 60s. In the 60s, then all the media, everything, information, even our education was controlled, even our security agencies, they were controlled by the Western.
See, the part where I disagree with you is that it wasn't necessarily sabotage. A lot of when African countries got their independence and the colonials left, even though we know very well that realistically they did not leave, it wasn't a matter of sabotage. A couple, like say South Africa, for example, actually that's not a good example because they got their independence late. A lot of these African countries had expertise without even European help, because they had a lot of their own people, children of the past generation studying abroad, and a lot of them came back. Nigeria is a perfect example.
Not
the
a
south
lot.
of Nigeria was
In English,
the south of
in Anglophone countries, I've realized that it was a little bit different than in most.
exactly.
Yes.
English Africa was very, very well, decently literate and educated after the British left. They gave us schooling. Like in Nigeria, the North, even because they are less influenced by the British and they are more like, I would even say they're more in connection with the Arabs. The South was very educated in a lot of things, vocationally and academically. The North only had one, by the time we gained independence, the North of Nigeria only had one university graduate. So the North had to resource Igbos, ethnic Igbos, to run most of the industries in the North, especially like mechanized industries and service industries, right? Because a lot of those guys up there could not speak English. Nigeria had a decent amount of graduates when we started out. We did start out with a little bit of socialism in Nigeria because a lot of things were run by the government in Nigeria. The country that really, really followed this model of basic capitalism and really, really did succeed was Ivory Coast. If you know what happened to Ivory Coast, but they later had a coup and it messed up the whole place. In Nigeria, we started with socialism for a while. Obviously, we learned that was messing things up. We switched to basically a mixed economy type of thing.
Yeah.
Because we had a first republic, second republic, third republic, and kept going on and on. So it was mixed. It wasn't like full blown capitalism at the time, but we did have oil companies.
We're getting off topic. We're getting off topic. Let's just we're gonna guys. I'll put the link in the chat room if you want to call in. Listen, you're more than welcome to call in and give your opinion. And I'm all about diversity and thought. But if you make an argument, I'm just gonna pick it. I'm gonna pick it apart piece by piece and analyze it piece by piece. That's all, point by point. Because I know a lot of us could be long-winded. And say, cool, I'm sorry for telling you to shut up. I apologize. But when you started off with Louis Farrakhan,
good for apologizing, man. You need to really apologize to Sekou. That wasn't good.
No, I did. I apologize. I'm sorry.
He's our brother, man.
I know he's our brother, but I know Trump derangement syndrome. When it calls in, which is completely fine. I mean, you have to think about it.
You guys really need to take a look at the comment section, like the actual comment section. People are shitting on socialism.
Trump actually, I just found out, I found out, I remember, Trump ordered more drones attack in Syria than Obama, man. You know that? That's
okay.
We need to dig deep. Yes, I'm not saying that now is Trump and Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris, man. But, man, U.S. foreign policy, bro.
But Trump also withdrew the troops from Syria too, right?
He planned, yeah. He's the one who started, I
mean that's the thing. He withdrew troops from Syria. He wanted to do. He did the same for Afghanistan. Yeah. He saw Biden messed that up. So
he didn't withdraw troops from Syria. He left it there, but I think in Afghanistan that's where he started.
Oh, I'm reading right now. Syria, he did.
Syria?
Yeah. But yeah, but you gotta think about it. I allow Lawrence to talk. I allow Elvis to speak.
Yo, someone in the no offense, Dinah, sorry for cutting you off. Someone in the comments is saying I'm a tool here. I should give examples. You know, when I said like socialism always fails, I should give examples. Yo, if you guys need to read like actual books, socialism has always fucked up and failed in so many places.
Socialism is
like, you know, socialism has killed more people than some epidemics, than some literal diseases.
No. Capitalism has killed more people than socialism, bro. All these war which have been provoked in the name of capitalism. What do you think about it, bro? Come on.
Hold on, socialism has completely failed to the point where countries that were once socialist, they're now capitalist countries, but maybe communist when it comes to politics.
They are not capitalists.
Exactly.
They are
mixed. That's just a fact. Let me pass the mic. Go ahead, Koja. Then I pass it to Mr. Sandman. Go ahead, Koja. Unmute yourself. Koja, unmute yourself.
Hello. Can you hear me?
You kind of, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, going back to the point I made earlier about neo-colonialists, someone like Julius Nyerere, I hear a lot of people praising him as a Pan-Africanist, but believe it or not, this was one of the people that sabotaged our independence as a people.
Exactly.
Yeah, in Uganda, I know.
Like, for example, when you go in Tanzania today, they don't have no culture, man. They claim they all speak Swahili. What happened to their kingdoms?
No, man. You have to understand some.
Julius
this is what I want to
Nyerere.
say. Yeah, about Nyerere. Leading a country, or even leading not only a country, but sometimes when we talking and leading, or becoming a president is two different things. Leading a country is not easy. The way how we think it is leading it, because there is some other reality when you come to that leadership. It's like being just a member of an organization and leading that organization, especially like community organization. I have this experience. When you are just helping, or you are in the group, you may criticize the leader, the chief, but when it's now your turn, you've been elected there. That's when you come face to face to challenges. So Nyerere, what he did, it doesn't mean that Tanzania don't have a culture. That's not true. And I've visited Tanzania many times. I've lived in Tanzania. I know Tanzanian people. They have a culture. But what Nyerere did, it was to diminish the influence of traditional leader. Because remember, in some countries, that was his way. And I think it was a good thing. Because in some countries, take example of Nigeria. Wait. When traditional leaders become very powerful, sometimes it can be a bad thing. That's because that can create some type of tribalism, and Nyerere was against that. Tanzania is better off than when there were groups, because all of them they relate. They say, they just know that they are Tanzanian, and when it comes to now to the Nyerere against Uganda, for example,
you guys are not giving valid points. Let me put you all on game now. The reason why socialism, because we're talking about socialism now, right? Versus this whole capitalism thing in relation to neo-colonialism. Let me put you all on game. I'm gonna give you an example of that whole East African bloc, and I'll move to other parts of the world, maybe outside Africa. Then you know why socialism has fucked up everywhere, except Burkina Faso under Sankara. But they fucked him up anyway.
Are they still under socialism right now? No, country
Burkina
like
Faso.
Kenya, it was mostly capitalistic, but
did Kenya start as capitalistic? Answer that question.
Kenya started as a mixed, like capitalistic with.
Okay. Nyerere came in. Hold on. Nyerere came in. Nyerere did this thing where he divided the farmland. You know, Tanzania was a net exporter of grains. And Tanzania was a very agricultural country because unlike Kenya, most of their land is tropical and lush and full of greenery and all that. Tanzania, when Nyerere came in with his socialism, Nyerere divided the farmland into blocks. he had the farmers work on government-sponsored farms. When they would farm, this guy would he would buy their grains and buy everything. He would place fixed set prices for it.
Yeah.
Brother,
Hey,
you're
guys,
explaining it as if
Are you guys
we're supposed
hold
to
on,
celebrate
hold
this.
on, one mic. Let me pass it to Mr. Sandman. Go ahead, Mr. Sandman.
Bro,
Hey, how you
you're
doing?
saying
Can
it
you
like
hear
I'm
me?
supposed to celebrate it, man.
Go ahead, Mr. Sandman.
No, I'm
Hey, can you
supporting
hear
what
me? How
you're
you doing?
saying, Koja.
Go ahead, Mr. Sandman.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, so the United States involvement with military activities internationally is a complicated situation. So the question is the S-hole country comment worse than the Libya attack that happened during the Obama administration? Well, um, from my because I have a career or a history in the military, the SO country comment is a common term that you would hear a lot of military personnel that deploy to Middle East countries when they have to go to these deployments into these third world countries. There a lot of times a lot of military personnel will call it an SO country like Iraq, Afghanistan, where people live in mud huts, things of that nature, or a whole lot of sanitation issues. So being that I heard Trump use that word, I assume that he's been with military personnel like his military generals and their lingo or their forms of speech. He'll utilize that in public, and it was probably wasn't a good thing to say. You know what I mean? It was politically incorrect to speak those, and people could construe it many different ways. But as far as whether or not it was a worse thing to do than what happened in Libya. See, us as civilians, we don't really know what intel that the Pentagon and the president gets in regards to what's going on internationally, so we can't really comment on it. Which is why what happened with Trump when the FBI invaded his Mar-a-Lago estate because he had confidential information in his place. That means he could have had serious documentation that would mess up the CIA or military operations all over the world. See, because we have spies all over the world, and you could put those guys in serious danger if that intel got out. So yeah, so Obama, Biden, Trump, all of these guys that become commander in chief of the military or the armed forces have access to top secret information. So I can't say whether or not what Obama did was right or wrong, because we just don't have the inside intel to know that all the parties that were involved in deciding that was the proper strike to make. It could have been a situation where his hands were tied and it had to be him, or he had to do it, or something worse could have happened. So it's hard to say what is worse. In regards to Trump, uh, so they say the one question so the issue with United States involvement with all of these international affairs. So if you recall, during World War I and World War II, the United States didn't want to get involved in those military operations because it was just going to be too expensive of a situation for United States military to get involved with, because the United States had a small military back then. They were forced to get into that war because Germany was ravishing Europe, and they were expanding all the way into Africa, and even Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, and that's when we know all about Oppenheimer and the atomic bomb that had to get dropped to end the war, to help end the war. So the United States military decided that we'll take preemptive action and curb any a war that might start before it becomes something bigger. That's what Biden keeps saying. We have to help Ukraine before they try to take over all of Europe, because we know the history of tyrants or military conquests where they try to take over more and more territory. So that's why the United States military got involved with Vietnam as well, because we had alliances with those people in Asia as well. So that's what you're going to have. You're going to have military personnel, military bases all over the world, because the United States has to get in, feels that they have to be involved and take preemptive actions before things escalate to bigger situations. So Trump says that he wants to remove or move Africom from Germany or whatever. I mean, like I said, we don't know what the intel that the president has in regards to that, or why he made it that decision. Well, I do know, if I was to take a guess, that he was trying to move funds, because from my understanding, he didn't get approved by the Congress to build the wall on the southern border. So what he did was he converted military funding to help build the wall. So say if he invested 50 billion, 500 billion or $100 billion into starting to build on a wall, he would claim that as commander-in-chief of the military, that was a military exposition, and that it was for the safety of the United States that the wall had to be built. So annually, the military has a finite budget that they can't go over. So if Congress allotted, the commander in chief a certain amount of budget, then he will have to cut funds from other different operations from other bases in other places around the world. So that's why I assume that he was trying to cut down on our footprint in other countries, so they could convert that money into building the wall. And then when Biden got in office, he stopped that, converting all of that money to building the wall, and then putting it back into military services. So yeah, like I said, you know what I mean? We're not in the Pentagon. We don't know all of this highly classified information to know really why, the president, whether it be Trump, Biden, or whomever, does what they do. We can't really know, because we don't have that top classified information. So it's hard to really make comments on it. It can only be conjecture or assumptions, speculation on what they might be doing or what they might be thinking. And that's all I want to say. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, thanks, Dinus. Mister, I usually just listen in whenever Dinus has this live, but I was just so appalled by your reasoning. I just had to jump on and just kind of give my 2 cents on this. You sound like you're well-intentioned. You sound like a good dude, but to say that because we're not in the Pentagon and we're not privy to classified information, that it would be conjecture. Are you serious, bro? You just got to do a simple Google search to see why the reasons as to why they give for the intervention. It's like saying, well, you know what? We don't really know what information the government was privy to with Iraq. So I don't know, maybe that whole quest for WMDs was justified. You weren't there, so how would you know what information they had? You got to have a bit more sophistication to your reasoning, bro. Look, there was an Arab Spring, there was an uprising going on in Libya, and allegedly Gaddafi's response to said uprising is what prompted not only a UN resolution, but also basically the coalition led by the U.S. to attack Libya. But I think you really brought this up to address the title of the video as to whether Trump's shithole comment versus invading a country, which was worse. I mean, isn't it self-evident? Doesn't it go without saying that merely making a comment versus invading a country and destroying their whole infrastructure? I mean, am I missing something here? What's difficult to reason here?
It's not the
Right?
same level
Well,
of damage at the
you
end of the
missing a
day.
I mean,
lot, man. If you
am I missing something here? Like it's self-evident.
you missing a whole lot, man. If you
Well,
really
please
do,
enlighten us, because to me, the reasoning is so poor. I was triggered, bro. I just had to get on here and say something. Go ahead.
And Jay, by the
you
way,
would
Jay,
never
there are ways you
like
can get
whatever.
classified
I would say
information.
this. I'll say this. Let me just say this. Let me respond real quick. Let me just respond this quick. Whatever you think you know is information from 30, 40 years ago. And the stuff that's happening now that you don't know will blow your mind. And you won't know for another 20 to 30 years.
I think you're giving them way too much credit. No one denies that there is information that's not made public or declassified years later. But the reasoning, the main reasoning as to why U.S. got involved in Libya, it's public information. There's nothing, there's nothing super uber secret about that. I'm sorry.
I mean, we literally just saw Obama come out and even give his reason as to why they did what they did. So aside from that, there are ways you can get classified information. There are so many CIA and FBI leaks we've seen in the past 10 years that it's like people have literal documents of things like this. How do you think these politicians campaign and are able to blackmail each other about things they've done in the past? They get this information from so many sources. The dark web is full of things. People really know how to get at each other. Like the CIA, for some reason, there's always people who come out leaking their stuff, even actual recordings of people saying certain things. I mean, even with oil companies, we've heard, like, we've seen people come out and lobby them and be like, they did this, they did that. The Panama Papers, bro. We knew about all that stuff. These billionaires gather in one place and talk about how they're gonna do this, do that, and people found out. So yeah, even in terms of classified information, it's not exactly classified information because a lot of things go public by accident nowadays. So Jay was right when he said it's a Google search away. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, the guy, he sounded like a good dude, but that's just a case of like, and he said he was ex-military. So I guess his psyche is just so blinded by, I got to support the cause. I got to support the military. I got to support what my commanders order. Otherwise, his brain is just in that whole world. But just a little bit more on Libya, just from the I guess the documentaries and the research that I've done in the past, Libya was perceived as being responsible for a bombing that killed passengers on a plane years ago. I think it was in the 1970s or 1980s. I'd have to look that up. But Gaddafi was implicated in that bombing of a plane. And I think since then, starting in the 90s, Gaddafi really tried to repair Libya's image and repair its standing in the world, and repair its relations. It's well documented that from the 90s up until that Arab Spring that ultimately ousted him, that Gaddafi really worked towards trying to have a better standing in the world, in the international community, and particularly in the U.S. You could look that up. You can do your research on that too. So that's why it was very surprising to most observers that follow this stuff that the U.S. didn't about turn and attacked them. But I suppose they saw an opportunity with the Arab Spring, and who's going to oppose them?
I feel like Obama says some bullshit things sometimes. Obama made the claim saying that they are doing this to protect the Libyan protesters. That's not. You know how many protests go on in your average African country every week? We've got one going on in Nigeria right now as I'm talking to you, bro. Why can't they do something about it? Okay, you could then argue by saying, oh, but Obama is not the one in charge now. Okay, we had Boko Haram kidnapping 100 plus girls when Obama was in charge. If he cared about little things like that, why didn't
Yeah.
he do something about Boko Haram?
Well, I'm gonna try. That's a good point, bro. And I'm gonna try and connect two seemingly very, very disparate or very dots that are very far away. If they're off, please call me out. But let me try and connect these two dots that are a bit maybe far away from each other. The U.S. has people in government that there's a foreign policy, right? It's not in the best interest of the U.S., I suppose, to go after Boko Haram or to intervene in every single conflict, right? So I'm going to try and say that perhaps this is where African heads of state and just Black people as a whole were not taking advantage of the political power that we have in the U.S. Look at, the Israeli lobby and the mountains that they're able to move behind the scenes in the U.S. government to get the U.S. to do their dirty work as far as manipulating the world stage in the favor of Israel. To me, in a perfect world, Black people in the United States, and I don't know what the percentage of African American, I don't know what percentage of Africans there are in Europe, but at least in the United States, in a perfect world, the African or Black folk in the U.S. would be able to flex their political muscle to be able to support their people back over here, back in Africa. To me, I think it's a very, very underutilized, I guess, a resource, for lack of a better word. But Justin, I was just kind of responding to you as to why, the U.S. doesn't intervene and with things like that in Nigeria. I don't know what you think about what I said, if you have any comment on that.
I mean, it's I was just reading the comments right now. Somebody said Michelle Obama was vocal about what happened with the girls in northern Nigeria about 9 to 10 years ago. See, that's still part of what me and this other guy was talking about before he left. That is somebody being vocal and saying something with her word of mouth versus you gathering physical troops with their guns, assault rifles, battalions, and F-16 aircraft to do something about it. It's two different things, man. It's not the same thing. Like, basically, the United States involve themselves when it is not their business. And that is still why I assume that's why Diana started this whole topic about, him wanting Trump to be the president because he's going to involve himself less in African politics. Because it's almost like the US involves themselves when they shouldn't.
I think Kamala versus Trump's probably going to want to say something, but I don't know, man. I don't have a high opinion on Obama. I don't have a high opinion on Trump because, Trump promised a lot, but, he didn't exactly drain the swamp. To me, Trump
and about
is
Trump, I think
just
the thing about Trump,
Justin, let Jay finish.
Okay, continue.
To me, Trump, he's just another side of the coin, and that's a view that is often, probably associated with conspiracy theory. But to me, it's the most logical conclusion when you look at, Trump did some good things, but he largely, I think his first week, actually, if I remember correctly, because I was a wait and see guy when it came to Trump. Because I remember, when Obama got elected, we were all so tired of George Bush. So Obama came in with hope and change, transparency. We're going to do things differently. And, there's a lot of us that were on the anti-war left that were very disappointed because he continued the war in Iraq. He continued the war in Afghanistan. He was prosecuting, government whistleblowers. The aura of secrecy surrounding the U.S. government continued. And it was largely business as usual when you look at the Trump administration. I guess the wall was divisive, but apart from the social issues that divide us here domestically, largely when it comes to foreign policy, it was just business as usual, in my opinion. And, a lot of times you'll hear conspiracy theorists say that the left and the right are just two sides of the same coin. And I've come to hold that same view because I don't expect much difference from Trump.
Amaka, do you have something to say?
Well, let me pass it to Kamala versus Trump because she's been waiting. Kamala versus Trump, you can unmute yourself. You just had a lot of background noise.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Hello, Dynast. Hello,
Hello,
everyone on the panel. Hello,
how are you?
everyone.
Hello.
Very good. Regarding Trump, the subject at hand of the live, I'm I guess speaking as diaspora, however it's pronounced, when it comes to Trump and these comments, the SHIT whole countries. Number one, I don't care. And this is very characteristic of Nigerian people. I will say Igbo people. We do not care what people think about us. We're too busy being great. So I really Trump can make his comments all he wants. It's basically just shut up and drive. You're the executive. You're essentially the 4-year chief CEO of the country. Just do your job and keep these markets afloat. I really don't care of his opinion. And a lot of Nigerian people, this is just my experience, really, really just do not care what other people think. It's just that type of need for validation is just not very indicative of Igbo people. And I'm just saying this is Igbo people in the United States. Everybody really is just too busy in their own world following their schedule. Trump is Trump. He's always been the way he's behaved. He has no filter. So using the shithole countries is really at this point a moot point because the stock market really does like Trump. And regarding Michelle Obama, the United States cannot use its resources to go into another country. Even with Gaddafi, you see the extent that was taken. One thing Nigeria does have a long-standing issue is there is very clear cultural differences in Nigeria. Igbo people go to school. Boko Haram kidnaps girls. That's just what they do. And people seem very resigned about that. I remember about 20 years ago in the particular area of northern Nigeria, a woman was supposed to be flogged. And this actually made its way to, I'm attending an all-girls school, Dynast, and yet like white girls in my high school, they're finding out about why are girls being hurt? Why are they being flogged? What happened? Like people find out about these things, like Nigerian Christians, the persecution. People hear about these things. It gives Nigeria a bad reputation when it's ultimately not trying to bring up any hostility towards other tribes. Some of the more Muslim, Islam, Arab tribes in Africa as a whole, they behave the way they particularly do. It's just kind of interesting where in certain areas of the world where there is always conflict, warfare, regional conflict, hungry women and children, it's just one particular religion. That's just my opinions. But kind of returning back to what Justin said, the United States cannot get involved because then it really is an act of war. And there's laws against this. Like the United States cannot even enter Mexico with military force, even though you have millions of people crossing the border. There's laws against that. So the Gaddafi took, acts of executive order on Obama's part, which he was willing to do, which means he's willing to go to court. And the United States, the chief executive is allowed certain rights when it comes to defense, because the United States president is commander in chief. So he is given leeway from a military standpoint, but there's still going to be consequences. And going into Nigeria, there's consequences. Like the United States just can't move in that direction. Furthermore, notice how the United States doesn't involve itself with Commonwealth nations. So going into Nigeria, there's implications with the UK as well. Like the United States just can't move the way they want to move in Nigeria because there's more at hand. They do business the way they do in Kenya, but we all know the UK and their agencies, they know what's going on. So that's just a touch on that subject right there. Justin, just to continue, Obama, look at what happened with Libya. And one of your callers a few weeks ago, Dynas, he made a very, his name is Larry, he made a really good point regarding Obama and his feelings towards Hillary Clinton when it came to Libya. That Obama was not okay with how Gaddafi was murdered. Let's be honest, that man was murdered. For someone 40 years as a leader in Africa, there could have been a number of ways he could have been appropriately tried. Saddam Hussein was given a trial, but not Gaddafi.
Come on. Do you call that a trial, what they give Saddam Hussein?
No, I don't call it a trial. And somebody threw a shoe at Bush, but he still was given the semblance of a kangaroo court, at least a semblance of it. What happened to Gaddafi was unbelievable. And that is Hillary Clinton's fault. That man did not deserve what happened.
Freaking horrible.
That was inappropriate. And that's speaking lightly on the matter. Just hearing that man scream,
that thing is like still on the internet, right?
It's just, yeah, and it hasn't even been scrubbed. Everybody else, even Osama bin Laden, was given the respect to disappear at sea. We don't even have his body. The United States did what it did. But what happened to Gaddafi was unacceptable, especially for what was going on in his country. Regardless, what your caller already said, Dynas, is true. My father actually told me the exact same thing. Regarding Gaddafi, this was essentially quote unquote payback. Even though he was not tried, the United States was basically getting back at him for what happened. What the airline that caller just mentioned, Dynas, was in regards, I think it was the late 70s over Scotland. So Gaddafi did
70s, right? It was the 70s.
Yeah, Gaddafi did. He did bomb a plane over Scotland.
Well, no, they're accusing him of it, but
well, my dad, Nigerian, Igbo people, we know the news. My dad even brought it up. It's like, he did. Gaddafi did something like this in the 70s. Really, Daddy? Okay. I mean, all right. 40 years later, Hillary Clinton. But some of your other panel.
How is it Hillary Clinton's fault when Obama's the president?
I understand exactly because of her leadership. She was Secretary of State at that time.
Okay.
And we also have to be mindful that they're like Reagan, these presidents, they delegate powers. So Obama trusted Hillary Clinton's leadership and her intelligence, and he went forward with it. So we just have to leave it at that. But that doesn't have anything to say of what happened to Gaddafi. Because I do believe, and your panel have mentioned this, Dynas, that Obama does harbor resentment towards Hillary for what happened to Gaddafi. Because what happened to Gaddafi was unacceptable.
But Obama's the one that pulled the trigger on it. He's the one that made the announcement.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't buy that. I'm sorry. He's the commander in chief. And I mean, if anything, what it does lend credence to the amount of power within that administration that Hillary, had, given that she's just a Secretary of State. She's not even involved in defense. Secretary of State's really just you're basically the highest diplomat in the government, so to speak.
That is true.
And then also I would just disagree slightly, Kamala, in that legally, from a legal perspective, the government's ability to the U.S. government's ability to wage war should only be after an act of Congress, which we know does not happen.
You're correct in that regard. You are correct.
Usually, Congress is supposed to declare war, and then the commander in chief, the president as the commander in chief can carry out said war. That's how it's supposed to happen. But we know I'm in my 30s. I've never seen Congress declare war, so we know it doesn't happen that way. Which is why there's guys like me that get upset because the might of the U.S. military can be used for so much good within the continent. We have jihadists roaming free in Mozambique and northern, heck, we love Kenya as a country, right? Kenya's on the rise. Everybody's going to Nairobi right now. There's parts of Kenya right now, largely that are lawless that you really don't want to drive through because the jihadis run you off the road and take your head off. Right now in Kenya, there's
Same
large
thing in the
parts of the
United
country.
Kingdom. The same issues
You know,
occurring in Northern Europe and the United Kingdom. Everything you're saying kind of returns back to what I said. There's certain religions that where they go, there's some behavior.
Mama,
And
oh
say
yeah,
it
for
for what
sure.
it is. Islam is
Look,
chaos. Full stop.
I'm not trying to point the finger at Islam. I'm just saying that, you know, the U.S. military, and if Trump wanted to be MVP, now if Trump gets elected, if he wanted to be the MVP, he would get on TV and say, you know what, I'm gonna use the might of the U.S. military to use Bush's phrase, smoke these guys out of their holes. All those jihadists in Kenya, all those jihadists in Mali. They would, if the U.S. military really wanted, they're so far advanced compared to those low-level militias. It wouldn't even be a fight. They would just
okay.
use drone
Well,
warfare
Jay,
to bomb
then let
them
me
out of the sky.
bring up, of course, what you
But they
remember,
don't.
and everyone on this panel, Afghanistan, which was over $12 trillion and 20 years. The United States is war fatigued. Moreover, the United States still handed over Afghanistan to the Taliban. Like that's
Yeah,
the
but
gag.
You
After
see what happened
26
in
years
Afghanistan?
and $12
Can I say
trillion.
something?
Well, guys, I want to pass it to Kamala versus let Kamala versus Trump finish, and then I got to pass it to TTL Lua because we have other callers. Go ahead,
Oh,
Kamala.
okay.
Oh, so just to go ahead and land, I made my comment regarding Trump, but we have to also remember when we're discussing Obama, he had 3 wars. He had 3 wars going on: Iraq, Afghanistan, and then in his administration, touching on what the panel is stating, Dynast, he also instigated Libya. And Gaddafi, King of Kings, the King of Kings of Africa, his administration did murder Gaddafi. Going back to what your panel's making a very good point, at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton is Secretary of State, Obama's Commander-in-Chief. He does have quite a bit of leeway, but his administration did go to war to Africa. Trump just talks a lot of talk. Even back in the day, when they came to the Central Park 9, Black America likes to bring up, Trump, the Central Park 9. Oh, no, Trump. At the end of the day, Trump was a private businessman who made those comments in the New York Times. He did take out an editorial, so he paid money to be Trump, to make his comment, to talk his talk. But when you discuss Central Park 9, it goes back to the DA, which was a woman. So
and a Democrat at that.
And a Democrat at that. This is New York. So let's just say Trump talks, but the Democrats actually take action. So that a Democrat white woman put, 9 young Black men to prison. And then when they had to be paid out, that's New York taxpayers paying out her mistake. That's number 1. Number 2, half African. He's still a Luo. He's still Kenyan, but he is an African. An African bombed Africa. Another African. That was
exactly. That's what I have against him.
Trump is a whole white dude who comes from Scottish ancestry. Like my neighbor told me, Trump is Presbyterian, very devout. His mother's a very devout Presbyterian woman. She knows nothing about Africa. She's a Scottish immigrant. That woman knows nothing about Africa, and neither does Trump. Trump doesn't even know Africans like that. He's from New York. He knows Dominicans, and whoever of us is in New York. His little comment is just Trump being Trump. He's rambling his mouth. That let's also remember, lastly, excuse me, Dynast, the president of Namibia, when Obama was pushing the LGBT, African presidents basically kicked out a number of United States statesmen out of Africa. There was one specific in Namibia. He was just really pissing off the president. Like, you got to chill out with this LGBT nonsense. And that president of Namibia is a very, very, he's a quiet strength. He's a quiet strength of a man, not the type to go back and forth. Evil people, we argue back and forth. Not everyone in Africa does that. Certain tribes are more chill. He asked this man to leave. This was during Obama's administration. Trump respected the African leaders, and he did chill out with this LGBT talk. Notice we didn't hear anything from Museveni. Notice we didn't hear anything else from Kenya, and we definitely didn't hear anything about Nigeria. Trump makes his comments, but when it comes to African culture, Trump at least has the know to respect and stand back. Obama did not. Okay, I'll be quiet. Thank you, Dynast.
And to add to what she said, during the Africa summit, they had all these leaders in the same plane. Like, this is how insulting it was. This was under Biden's administration, the US Africa summit. This is where it gets funny. These guys were all in the same economic class plane, literally like normal shit people in the same plane, all the way like to travel to the United States.
Let me pass the TTL. Go ahead, we're going to close out.
But isn't that same thing that they did to them when they were going for the Queen burial, and they put them all in the bus like the charter animals?
Yeah. That's what happened.
That's not surprising. I actually love what Kamala versus Trump. I was listening to her. I really respected what she said, but then like when it comes down to it, I'm not really supporting any of these individuals when it comes down to it. I'm not at all. But the reality is that I don't want anything that have to do with I don't want anything that have to do with that man Obama. Anybody from him that is support, I would if I were still in America, I definitely would not vote because I never do anyway. But my point is, if I were anybody right now of African descent, you should not support him because it's not on your side. It would never be on your side. And you basically just narrated every single thing that he has done for the African people. He's not going to ever be an African man. And he himself doesn't even claim to be an African man. You can deny, you can go and look it up yourself. Even when they say, oh, you're Kenyan, they said it many times, oh, you're from Kenya, oh, your dad is Kenyan. He never claims it. So it would never be for us. It would never be about us. And same thing with Kamala. Kamala is just a face. They're trying to play the same role, just like they did with Obama, knowing how intense it is in America right now. And they give us no option than either Trump or Kamala. They're both really SHIT, HOLE. So both of them.
Tito Loa, if I may share something with you. Growing up, I've met a number of people who are half African and half Black American.
Mm-hmm.
What generally happens, and this is my entire life, even when I was a child,
mm-hmm.
when the relationship doesn't work out, what happens is the American, who's usually the mother, is generally a Black American woman. What
mm-hmm.
she will do is she will change their name. And I've seen this because I've had people in my own life who have a Black American mother,
uh-huh.
and then they have an African father, whether the father is West African or North African, but they have an African father. One thing, especially in Africa, like we all have our name, and you know this. I mean, look at your name. We all have our name. We have our Christian name, or our Western name, our Christian name, and then we have our name. And our name literally speaks volumes of who we are.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows their name. I've had people approach me whose mothers are Black American. They're going by, American names, and they not only know what tribe I come from, they also even know what my name means. Like I remember a girl with a Moroccan father, the mother who was not Black American, but like I guess Hispanic or whatever. She changed the daughter's name. That girl came to me. She not only knew what tribe I come from in Nigeria of all places, she knew what my name meant.
Mm-hmm.
So like many of them are like Obama, like they have a mother who's not African and a father who is African. Like my father had to go back and marry, like my people, they're hardcore. Like they told my dad to return.
Mm-hmm.
They like after 10 years, like we're not going back and forth with you, brother. You return.
Mm-hmm.
Like they made it straight to him. Others, like their families don't. I just bring that up to you because Obama was originally going by the name Barry Soetoro. He was taking the stepfather's name. So he westernized his name. But eventually, we all know Obama has been to the village. He has been to the village, which everybody, even one time, we have to go. And he does carry his father's name. I know a lot of us have issues with Obama, but it is important to note the fact that he wasn't even raised in his father's household. So he didn't have what many of us have, like the village in America. Like I had like the village. Even though I don't even speak our language, I don't speak traditional language. I grew up on a goosey soup. I know it, and I've been back. Obama didn't even have that. Like, he doesn't even eat our food, but he still carries his father's name, which is incredibly important. And Obama knew to marry a Black woman. He knew what to do. He understood the assignment. Obama behaves the way he does. But remember, he was raised with his white mother's family, the grandparents, and Black people in Chicago. So he's going to be particular. I just want to just share that with you, because I understand your point. But
playing
just,
the card.
you know, he's diaspora, you know, the diaspora, we're different like that.
Yeah, he's playing the card, and he's playing it really well for all of us to follow. So that the main fact is the fact that, okay, even though you carry your father's name, that still does not signify the fact of whom he is and whom is supporting. If you're going to push and send someone to a nation that you know that they will not accept certain rules, and you know you're from this nation, okay, you will do the same thing that Trump did, which was someone, you said it, back off. Back off. You're supposed to be the one to say, okay, I'm going to back off. Not only is it a figurehead that is being used against us, it's also a figurehead that is being used against a lot of Black, I would say African Americans. Look, if you decide you're Black American, your choice. But I would say a lot of African Americans. Okay? So that's my belief. I would not support a person that he supports. Okay? And I would look at it not from a narrative of individualism. I'll look at it as a narrative of collectivism, because at the end of the day, whomever wins in November, on November 4th, whomever wins, best know is either going to be against, I'm going to say it as a group collectively, African Americans and Africans as collective, or it's going to be someone that is not going to interfere in whatever is going to happen in Africa, in African American collective. And the African Americans that is intelligent enough is going to be preparing itself for whatever is going to happen in November, because whether you like it or not, it's going to have some type of influence upon the way that we are living, upon the way that our society is, whether we like it or not. Does that make sense? Because right now, I can guarantee you 100% that they are very upset over what is going on in Africa. 100% upset over what is happening right now. And our key card right now is, I hate to say it, but it is Trump card, 100%. I don't like him, but it is gonna be either him. I don't know if that makes sense. Even if you're a Caucasianite, you should really look at Trump. He's not our savior. It's not anything like that, but you should really look at Trump as your way to narrow out of him. If anyone knows what I'm saying.
But Titoloa, if I may, when we're thinking of Africa in the United States and the UK, like the immigrant, we're especially when we have a very clear objective, you know, West African people, Kenyan people, you know, like the Africans who are coming out of the Commonwealth countries on the continent, we have a very, very clear goal and objective when we get here. Even if you're first generation, you understand the assignment. So with that being said, if the focus is to stay here, get on the grind, make money, be successful, get educated, and do one of the 5 jobs that our parents tell us to do, wouldn't it make sense to vote not just necessarily Trump, but Republican? What a lot of Black people don't know is that Black America, in terms of money, made the most money under George W. That time, when we're looking at after Clinton and before Obama, when we're looking at money, Bush had the stimulus. After 9/11, there was those stimulus checks, and there was just a lot of growth in the economy. Granted, we did have the housing crisis, but that can be explained, the housing crisis. That wasn't Bush's fault. But during that time, Black people made a lot of money. Under Republicans, Black people do. Someone brought up in the live chat, you know, my dad voted Reagan in the 80s. Yes, my dad did. He voted. That was his first vote, was Reagan. There was a lot of money in the 80s, a lot of money. Finance was opening up big time. Unions were still strong. A lot of people were making money. You have the Black American middle class. Ebony Magazine even did a profile of it. You had Black people entering professional positions big time in the 80s. So Reagan was not bad. And Dynast already had a panel where Philippe mentioned that if you had if you are Black American, and you either from the 70s, so basically after the late 60s, entering the 70s, if you had a parent who was military, unionized, and also went to college, you did fare well. You fare, and you are still faring better. So that really spurred up in the 80s. Black people doing well in the 80s, Black people doing well in the 90s. So you're now having the beginning of the African immigrant population, which really is the 70s, the beginning of the African immigrant population, coming into the beginning of more wealth in the 80s, which was really finance. Finance really took heart in the 80s under Reagan. And then in the 90s, we had the roaring 90s with Clinton. A lot of money to be made. Black people were moving up, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, even under George W. There was money to be made. You have the Black middle class. Yes, you have people who were disadvantaged, but that's for a number of reasons. But everybody, Black American and the small, very small Black immigrant population, there was a great deal of capital. Even with the inflation, there was still quite a bit of capital. There was liquidity that was allowing our families, our parents, to excel and continue to do better. Things are a little bit different now, but Black people as a whole, we do well under Republicans. So, look at Trump 2016 till 2020. Black people, what type of money were you making? We were all working. A lot of us bought homes. So just consider Trump again for 24.
All right, let me pass it to Jay.
think-
Let me pass it back to Jay, then we're closing out. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, Dynast, actually, I wanted to ask you a question, sir. Your thought on the idea of the left and the right, Obama, Trump being two sides of the same coin. What are your thoughts on that? Mindset.
So I'm voting for Trump. Like, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. If Trump wasn't running, I probably wouldn't vote. Okay. So I disagree to a point. Now, if it wasn't Trump, then well, see, the thing is, the left has moved so far left, you really can't say that anymore. I mean, you got to think about it. In California, Gavin Newsom just passed a law where if your child goes to school and identifies, say, as a boy, and the child identifies as a woman, and he tells his teacher, the teacher does not have to notify the parent.
That is everywhere, including Maryland.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, the left has gotten too far left.
Yeah. Well, the left has they've lost the culture war. I mean, anybody that supports that type of, mindset that's still in 2024. Go ahead.
Yep. Sorry to cut you up. I apologize. And also, what Joe Biden tried to do with Title IX. If you're not familiar with Title IX, it's was what gives funding. It was legislation that was passed where it brought equality for women in sports and in colleges that are federally funded. And so what Joe Biden wants to do, and it got held up in court. He was trying to give LGBTQ protections under Title IX, and let's focus on the T. So if you're a transgender, I guess, male, and if you want to play in female sports, if you're getting federal funding, your school, they have to allow you to play. They can't discriminate against you. So some of this stuff is just too far left.
Right.
Plus, Dynast, can I say something?
Well, hold on.
You guys are forgetting that.
Hold on. Let Jay talk. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, like, just the culture war right now. Like, if you still support leftist politics right now in 2024, then you're basically a hardliner. You're not gonna budge. I mean, they've alienated so many people, including myself. I grew up essentially liberal until I started to realize, oh, you know what? I'm a male. They don't exactly like people like me. You know what I'm saying? And that pushed me more towards the right. But Dynast, just one more thing.
Go ahead.
I know you're leaning right. You're leaning more towards Trump. But do you see either side long term in the next 4 years being better for Africa as far as foreign policy goes?
Oh,
do you see
Republicans by far? Republicans by far.
Why do you say that? Why do you say because I could see a Democratic president having a bit more sympathy for, you know, African foreign policy, being more sympathetic towards the continent and as far as being favorable to us.
Have you been listening to the news and seeing
No,
what
I know what Obama did.
The Democratic presidential going on right now? Have you seen what they're enforcing on Africans?
I haven't. Please enlighten me. I mean that sincerely.
The law that is being forcefully passed that Africans must sign, especially in one right now in Nigeria, that everyone is actually thinking like, what are you? They're going to give us money in order for this president to say, okay, yes, it's going to allow the freedom of how did they even word it? Freedom of not sexuality,
rainbow flag.
You know what I'm saying now?
Okay. I see. So they're pushing LGBTQ.
No. So Titi Oloa, that wasn't in that bill. That was debunked.
I'm gonna read the bill again. Hold on. Hold on.
All right, go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we go this whole route of Obama versus Trump, I want to remind you guys about something. See, Obama and the invasion of Libya was a decision made. It was something that could have been avoided, but instead, it was a decision. People came together and they made that decision, and Obama spearheaded it, right? Trump, like, you need to understand the way I see Trump. Trump came in Trump literally was at the right place at the worst time. Trump came in during COVID, man. Like, Trump couldn't have magically used his powers to prevent COVID from happening. Trump came in when a recession would have happened either way because of COVID. Trump came in at the worst time. His leadership came in at the worst possible time. What could Trump have possibly done? You think Trump is gonna control a pandemic? He's Trump. He's one human being. Literally, COVID was everywhere except maybe certain African countries. Because in Africa, to be honest, we didn't really experience COVID like that. People were still walking around doing their thing. But like, Trump came in at the worst possible time, whereas Obama, the controversy regarding Obama is something he could have prevented. It's something he could have controlled. It's something that, as the leader of the United States of America, he could have decided to be opposing that, and he didn't. So yeah, it's a different scenario entirely.
Okay, let me pass it to Jay. You wanted to add anything, Jay? Then I'm gonna pass it to Brandon in order to close out.
No, sir. I'll pass the mic.
All right, go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, Dinus. Excuse me, Dinus.
Yeah.
This is perfect. I have a question that I am posing to all voters in America, all Black voters in America. This is my question. If the Republican Party is the party of racism, if Donald Trump is a racist and he's the leader of a racist party, why is it that Donald Trump can get on stage, say things like Black people built this country, offer Black people economic stimulus packages that are almost equal to the military budget of the United States of America yearly, right? And never lose a single voter, never lose the support of his base of racists, never lose the support of the Klan members that we say support him. Yet you have Black people right now saying that Kamala Harris cannot discuss reparations for African American people because if she does, she will lose the support of her Democrat voter base. If Republicans are the party of racism and the Democrats are for us, why is it that the Republican candidate can say things like Black people built this country and offer us tangible economic bargaining chips in exchange for our vote, yet the Democrat Party candidate can't even begin to speak about tangible benefits for Black Americans without losing her voter base? That's my only question. I want everybody to think on that throughout this election.
Understood. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.